What is up, everybody? Okay, so I leveled Matahari this time, which ought to make things a bit better. You don't even have to like do anything, right? You don't have to level her skills. You just have to do her dumb strengthening quest to unlock her third skill. Because this game. Okay. We should be fine this time, honestly. Bringing Matahari, or really anyone with skill seal, makes a pretty big difference here. You know, I don't think I did it because I'm dumb, but I should have made an esports Matahari. Like, you want Matahari to die, and so you want her to be the minimum level, not have foe items and all that. And I don't think I did that. I think I leveled her to 60, but I should have leveled her to 50. Okay. We're not getting carried, keeping it low star here. Do the old stereos. Okay. You don't actually have to start with Ushi. In this slot, it can be really anything, but... let's see, okay. No, she is 50! Oh, how about that? We do have esports Matahari, okay. What do we give her? On the one hand, I could give her this because that's handy, but it gives her more health. But it is nice to get some NP in case you just happen to fall short. I could give her the Knight if I have it. I do, so that makes her a lot more likely to die. I mean, I feel like she's pretty likely to die. Extra 500 health isn't that much. Okay, Ushi doesn't matter at all here. We can just give her, like, this. What do I want to give Hans, though? Hans' skill ranks are still terrible. Let me check real quick. Maybe I can upgrade them. I cannot. Damn it. I could have farmed that so easily. Dude, I'm so stupid. I could have farmed that so easily, and then he could use, like, because I think it has to be rank 5. I think it has to be rank 5 for him to have the jeweled sword and be able to turn 1 NP. And like that, I mean, two homunculus babies, that's nothing. Shit. I had all this time, but I didn't really play the account. I was busy with Goetia. Well, let's see then. I could not worry about turn 1 NP and like... Maybe I do this and I just don't NP right away. It's either that or like a defense up. I think defense up is pretty good. Because if anyone dies, it's Hans. And that extra bit of survivability can sometimes go a long way. But I'm going to try that. Now, because I have Matahari, I can actually have a back row. Problem is I don't really have a lot of stuff leveled that will have much impact. This is better than nothing, but it's not great. This is actually really good, but I'll try to keep it low star here. I could do that. That's actually pretty good. What else is there? There's Hydra for just cleanup damage at the end. I mean, obviously Stheno, but we're going to try to do this with low. Well, Stheno is the account, you know, gimmick, so I don't care too much if we bring her. This actually isn't bad. He gives you some emergency stabilization if you need it. In case Hans dies at a bad time. I'm thinking this or this. Really weird to bring David here, but he's not that bad. Oh, my Asterios doesn't have foe items. Let me do that. If not David, then what? Potentially Kojiro. Just for like last second cleanup. Just maybe. Let me see real quick. Eventually, please. Not a lot of health, but it's 70 health. Oh yeah, that'll get him. All right, I don't know if this is the most optimal setup for what I'm doing, but it's way better than what we did last time. Because we actually have a back row in case of catastrophe. Default or Atlas, though? If my skill ranks were higher, definitely Atlas. But because my skill ranks are so bad, I'm kind of leaning towards default. Because like the cooldown reduction will barely do anything. But it lets you remove potentially defense downs when you have them when you don't want them. But the heal can be good. I'll try default. I'm sure it's doable either way, it's just gonna twink the RNG. Now you're just overstatting the content? Yeah, 70 health, that'll get him. I'm trying to do it without using high stars at all, that's why I'm not bringing Stheno, but also, Goetia doesn't count as a male or anything, so he's just king, so she's not the best. I mean, actually, a Grailed Sanson can solo this fight, because almost any Grailed Cavalry class can solo this fight. Let's see, so we do this number. I don't think I actually bothered to do her first skill upgrade. Yeah, I didn't. It wouldn't really matter. What do we do here? I guess we do this because NP at the start is important. Okay, good. Matahari's out of here. Matahari really does help here, though, because not only do you actually get to have a back row, but you have like 2 turns to get Asterios' NP, and because she can do NP charge on death, you're even more likely to get it on the first turn. So yeah, Matahari, pretty damn good here. Like that's a huge difference that she makes. Let's see. I guess I do that because ultimately Ushi doesn't matter, right? Ushi's just, she gets the damage when she gets it. You don't worry about speed with her. Oh crap, I think I was supposed to use Asterios' second skill. I kind of just forgot. Goetia, please don't murder me. Goetia! God damn it. That would have done like no damage if I had cast the second skill there. Well, shit. I was hoping I've got buff success chance on Asterios. I think his quick card. I wish I'd gotten it because I'd guarantee the defense up because we kind of need it with that turn. Yeah, if he quick charges, we're fucked, but the first couple of turns are always a little shaky like that. Sadly, Asterios is not that good against the bigger Fluffy, and it's because of the debuff thing. The boss does more damage the more debuffs he has. So, he crit? Goetia! You're such a dick! You're such a dick! And if that would actually have been okay if it was like any other turn, but because it was on that turn, that really is my fault though. If I had cast that second skill, we'd had more health, and I don't think we would have died there, and it would have been fine. So that was my fault. It's just I made a tiny mistake, and then Goetia capitalized on it big time. But yeah, unfortunately, Asterios makes Fluffy hit harder by debuffing him, which really messes it up. And Fluffy's hit count isn't quite high enough for us. Like, yeah, you could get like an NP or two out of Asterios, but you're not going to have like perfect uptime. I actually think they may have given Asterios that, not Asterios, Fluffy. I think they may have given Fluffy that gimmick because of Asterios. Because otherwise Fluffy would actually be very susceptible to Asterios. Okay, let's not fuck up our skills this time. Well, the good news is Asterios is very likely to get his NP. Because he's essentially at 10% higher. He's at basically 54 right now because of Matahari. Yeah, he's already done. Oh crap, Matahari might live though. Well, that's not that bad if she lives. It's not good, but... Asterios is so far ahead of Ushi there. Okay. Man, Asterios already has double defense down though. Maybe I do need to bring Atlas. Because Atlas, I think maroon the defense down is more useful than the heal for the early on. And if you lose, it's early on, right? Once you get the setup going, it's fine. So, could do Hans's NP right now just to try to get the defense buff. I don't think I need it. But yeah, I'm thinking default's gonna be better. You could use Caligula instead of Ushi here, like that's the thing. Ushi can be almost anything, and actually I would say Ushi's not even that good here because there's just other units that can contribute a lot more to helping Asterios out, or even helping Hans out, where she doesn't really do anything. She got the NP up, which is nice, but it's not that good, so she really is not that important. So Hans didn't get his NP, which actually kind of sucks. I can use his battery. I don't think we need it. I think it's okay. Because we're gonna have the extra attack down from the previous one. Yeah, Asterios' NP gain is nuts, and I gave him that old 4-star CE that like everyone forgot about. What's it called? I don't know. It's Alia's Maids. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, it's a super old CE, and it's got uses. Okay, Ushi can finally NP. What is the order here? I think we overcharge Hans as much as possible. Yeah, Banquet or something? Yeah, that sounds right. Miss. Let's hope not. The defense buff is the most important one in this situation. Okay, landed it. That's good. Oh my god, you're right. My Ushi's NP1. Holy crap. I was wondering why that damage was kind of meh. Oh my god. You know what sucks is because if she was like NP2 or 3, this fight ends a lot faster. Like, it ends a lot faster, even if her bond isn't that high. That sucks. I might actually need to use Kojiro or something, I don't know. Yeah, I forgot about that. I didn't say it out loud, but I was like thinking to myself, what the hell was that NP damage? I was kind of like, did I give her the wrong CE? Okay, I actually could get away with not Asterios NPing right here. But I think I do it, and what I do is I don't Hans NP. Because Hans might be able to double NP here. I have to be careful though, because if these next couple turns go really bad, like, I might not have Asterios' NP synced up the way I want it for the Goetia's NP. Like if he like double quick charges or something. But I don't think I Hans NP again because I think we're going to take no damage this turn. Because once you start having those lingering attack downs from previous NPs, this starts getting easier and easier. Okay, definitely gonna Hans NP now, because Asterios didn't get anything done there. Now, I can guarantee that he lands the buffs on Asterios, but if I do that, Asterios won't get as much refund, but that's probably okay. It's the good old green theme. You know, honestly, Goetia kind of looks like a Kirby villain. See, this right here is kind of what I was worried about. Remember what I said about the NP not syncing up? This could be a problem. And it wouldn't be a problem if Hans's second skill was ranked up more, if I got those homunculus babies, because then I could do this. So you got that defense up, and then you do Hans's NP again, and then you're probably safe. But we might actually, I might seriously die because of this Hans thing. Let's see. Yeah, that's not ideal. I can remove a defense down, that'll help. Yeah, that might be the end of us. We'll see. I think if just a little bit more, like one more attack down or one more defense up, I think would be okay. We'll see. Yeah, I was kind of worried when I NP'd there that if Goetia quick charged a lot, this would happen. Green playing greens, yep. Getting very meta here. And we're still alive. That wasn't too bad. Ooh, she got quick down though. That sucks. Yeah, Atlas is looking better and better here. Okay, well, I don't think we Hans NP because it's just not a turn where it's gonna matter. I think we do that. Man, this does suck though with how weak my Ushi is, because the fight would normally be about over by now. But we're only halfway. Okay, that's definitely gonna be a Hans NP. Look at all these defense downs. Hans, be a bra. Okay, it's good. Did he get it on Ushi? I didn't see that. Yeah, I think he got it on Ushi too. Okay, this is a little awkward because I don't have as many lingering attack downs, so if he quick charges next turn, it's tempting to not Asterios NP here. But I think we do it. And if... because he could quick charge now and just NP. This is a little iffy though. The good thing is Hans will definitely get his NP though. And I can have the buff success chant. Wait, I can't remember if it lingers into next turn or not. I think it does. Yeah, it does. So Asterios will be guaranteed to get the defense up. The ideal thing is Goetia quick charges right here. Or he does his quick attack. Okay, that's good. Oh, that's really good. That's actually more than we need, I think, but I'll take it. Yeah, nice try. A little late on the buster there, champ. Do I even Hans NP here? I guess just because I'll have time to get another one. So I'm pretty confident if Ushi wasn't so scuffed, the fight would probably be over now. In P1. How is she in P1, dude? I cannot believe that. What a joke. They're over here doing 200k even though we've got some bond bonus. And Heaven's Feel. She's got fucking Heaven's Feel. Like, yeah, it's no Black Grail, but it's still pretty good. Yeah, we should be fine though because we've got, you know, another Asterios in the back and so on and so forth. I do wonder if Kojiro would be better than Ushi just because he's in P5. I don't know though. He doesn't give Asterios the NP up. I mean, I'm not actually getting very many defense buffs. The reason I'm not taking damage is because Asterios here just does so much attack down to the boss with his NP. Like that's like Asterios' thing is he has massive attack down. And then what's unique about him is he does one attack down the last one turn, that's huge, and then he does another attack down the last 5 turns. So you end up stacking it to the point of like absurdity. The thing is you can't always enable Asterios to do that. Like, it depends on the fight, depends on your support. Like, if the boss doesn't have a high hit count, you're gonna have to rely on, like, Waver or Castoria giving Asterios the NP. So he's not able to do that all of the time. But there are situations where he can do what we're doing right now, and it's very strong. I guess I'll go ahead and cast this. I could cast Ushi's Evade, but I don't think she needs it. She does have 2 defense downs, though. Let's see, I guess I do that. I think Asterios will get rid of one of his defense downs. Yeah, he did. That's good. He should be fine. I really wish Hans had that second skill upgraded, though. Not only because it's more gain, but because the cooldown would be shorter. Because Hans can fill in those gaps where Asterios has like a bad turn or two. But it's a bit harder to do that with the higher cooldown. Big part of me wants to give Asterios the buff success chance. Because Hans is probably going to NP next turn. I think I'd do it. I was tempted though to do an art chain because that would, even if Goetia triple bustered or something like that, Hans would still get his NP and that would be really helpful in case the next turn goes bad. But he's 73, he's very likely to get his NP here. Oh god, I had to say something, didn't I? Okay, this is a little rough. I think we do this. So the good news is Asterios... okay, hold on. So Asterios is guaranteed to get the defense buff from Hans if I don't evade him. But I could just evade Asterios. Let me see. So Asterios has his own defense buff right now. And he could be guaranteed to get Hans's. Let me look up Asterios here. I want to look at the exact numbers we got going on. Math. Okay, so what is Asterios' second skill rank at right now? Probably 10? So then if that's true, it's 40%. And then so he's 60% because of Hans. And then he's got 3 lingering attack downs, which I think are 10% each. Nope, they're 20%. So, and unless I'm out of my mind, Asterios will take 0 damage here. So I should evade Hans. Although, I actually don't care if Hans dies, but I think I evade him anyway. This is such a mistake, by the way, if my math is wrong and Asterios dies here. But I'm pretty sure my math is right, and he's fine. I can actually get rid of that defense down too, so it should be even safer. And this should be right. I should take 0 damage. Like, we're actually over 100% because of the 20% attack downs. Yeah, okay, we're good. Did he quick down Ushi again? I hope... Jeez, Ushi is really bringing up the rear here. like we're on turn 15 and Goetia still has 500k health. Like, are you kidding me right now? Yep, she has quick down. I'm not sure I don't think I even NP with her. Jeez, I guess I have Hans NP again just to shore up Asterios, because Asterios actually still can't do his. Dude, we should have won by now. Like, we absolutely should have won by now. Yeah, guys, Ushi's a bad unit. She needs a buff. She's so bad we never pulled her, so she's a low NP rank. And hi, Rabbit. Doesn't really matter. I like how now that I don't need NP, because Asterios already had it. Now, look at... What? Why couldn't you do that on one of the turns that, like, Asterios is lagging behind? Look at that. Asterios already had his NP from his normal cards. And then Goetia's like, oh, let me give you a hand here, bud. Okay, I think Ushi can actually NP now and not completely embarrass herself. We really fell behind there on the attack downs, like quite a bit. Yeah, the problem is Asterios' overcharge is just the defense down. It's not the attack down, so it's kind of irrelevant. I'm pretty sure we're at the defense down cap anyway, so... Goetia, I don't like that, buddy. Okay, at least Hans got his. Asterios actually almost got his off just the one. That's kind of crazy. Ushi might actually die here. I think Asterios is totally fine, but yeah, Ushi might bite the big one here. We should have won by now, dude. Like, I don't think it's unreasonable to have NP2 Ushi by the time you get to Solomon, right? I don't think that's actually asking for that much. But I think it's pretty clear that what I said a few streams ago is accurate. That Matahari makes a really big difference here. Because even if something had gone... Because first off, she makes it less likely something will go wrong because Hans isn't there on turn 1. So Hans doesn't take a bunch of damage. And then by the time Hans shows up, Asterios is probably ready to go, right? And it's way smoother. But even if something does go wrong, because you don't have to sacrifice your front row if you have Matahari, that means you can have a back row to fill in if Hans happens to die or Asterios happens to die, right? It's much, much, much better. It's huge difference. Also, Ushi, please. You know, just cause I think we're far enough in that we can BM a little bit. It wasn't a particularly good hand anyway. Oh man, he had that, I should have done Hans' first skill too. I could have had the crit buff. What am I doing? But he didn't crit with that first one. Yeah, I could have made that one a good bit bigger. Okay, I should have also healed Ushi, but... Because if Ushi gets her NP, we win. Damn it, Ushi. Okay, this should be GG. This was so much slower than it needed to be, but... Hans getting annihilated on the last turn because he had quad defense down. Now see, this is just cheating, right? This setup right here is actually probably better than bringing Hans, by the way. Because you just rotate their NPs. And they both, I gotta stress this, they both have the 5-turn attack down. So you don't even need to activate an Asterios NP on like the Goetia NP turn at all, because you're just gonna have so many lingering attack downs. Like, this is broken right here. Like, if you do like double Asterios, as long as you don't die in like the very first turn, it's so busted. And you can give the one Asterios like the Caneth CD or something like that. But okay, I think we just win here. Poor Hans, though. Yes, Asterios can solo this. It's actually, in some ways, easier because you have access to your deck every turn, so you have maximum MP gain and like debuff removal because you can just bring all debuff removal command codes and stuff like that. So it's not that bad. I don't even think he needs to be Grailed, really. If he's just like upgraded and you get a good cut. It's mainly like the first turn needs to go well, and if the first turn goes well, you win. And if you do have like a Grailed Asterios, then you probably don't even need the first turn to go well. If you did it with like a level 60 Asterios, though, it would just take a really long time. So it'd be a lot funner to do it with a Grailed one. Because he'll kill Goetia quicker. Okay, I haven't really thought about what to do about the caster fight, because actually, it can be harder. It absolutely can be harder. Although it's mainly harder if you're cheesing, right? Because it's so easy to cheese Demon Goetia by like summoning a support that can solo it, and it's a bit harder to do that for the caster one. But we weren't really cheesing one way or the other, so we'll probably be okay here. I think he still counters assassins, so Stheno is still really, really bad here, unfortunately. Yeah, and Ku can solo this, but actually, you can probably solo it a lot easier than back in the day, just because Ku's been buffed so much. You can probably super wreck it. But I don't want to do any strong stuff like that until we beat 1.0. The boring thing to do is summon Ushi, because she's pretty good here, but that's kind of boring. But like I said, I was going to do pretty safe and, budgety stuff for 1.0, and then we'll do, higher rarity, fun stuff when we do 2.0. We could try Ricky. I've never actually used Ricky here. All right, why not? We'll summon Ricky. Let me set him up real quick. This he is technically a low star. Damn it, Da Vinci. Alright, where is the boy? I'm so glad I got Ricky to 10-10-10, like, super quickly when he was added. It's just nice being able to use him at his best. Let's see, there's a lot of debuffs in this fight. That's like the main thing about it. I don't know what I want to pick for my free 5-star. It would be nice if I could just get spooked by Tesla, and then I'd pick Tesla, and then I could do Zeus versus Tesla on Lost Belt 5, but that's very unlikely. I'll probably decide after I beat Lost Belt 4, because I'm going to use all my SQ after Lost Belt 4, and then I'll just kind of see what happens. And like, because if I get something that I can make in P2, I might do that, and then if like I don't get anything that I would want to do that for, then I might pick something just unique or different, something that I don't really use on other accounts, or I just like a lot. So we'll just kind of see where we're at after Lost Belt 4. Kind of sucks that I need to wait that long, but it's the practical thing to do. And I got plenty of stuff that I like on this account already, so it's not like I gotta do it this second or anything. I guess I give Rick... I don't remember exactly what would be good in this fight, so I'm gonna give him Pierce Invulnerability, because I think there's a slight chance that Goetia does Invulnerability. Do that in, like, Star Bomb. Okay, good enough. So Goetia, I remember, drains your NP on turn 1, so starting NP is not particularly useful here. Looking through my craft instances. Wait, that's not Ricky, that's Ushi. That's a habit right there. There's good old Yang CE, but let's not do that. You know what? Let's try something wacky. I'm gonna give him Formal Craft on Ricky boy. Why have I not leveled my Formal Craft more? Mine's limit broken and I've barely leveled it. I gotta fix that. Okay. Why, can you not burn him or something? I don't see why it wouldn't work. And, oh, isn't he immune to special damage or something like that? But you still get to pierce vulnerability, so that's not that bad. Yeah, I think I remember that now that he, his, like, what is it called? Origin bullet doesn't work here either, if I remember correctly. I've, like, rediscovered that, like, 3 times. Like, I've discovered it on my own, forgotten, then discovered it again, then forgotten. That's happened a lot. If we had story replay, that probably wouldn't be an issue, but, so yeah, riders are still good here, though, because they don't take as much damage. We need anti-debuff, and our only anti-debuff is Martha, and I didn't level her. So, she is literally my next level up, though. So definitely Atlas. Hans is okay. I don't remember this fight that well, dude. Like, I really don't. I know he debuffs the shit out of you. Okay, let me check real quick. Maybe I can level my Martha as is. I haven't really touched this account over the last few weeks because and I kind of just forgot, to be honest. I got like Matahari set up and that was it. That was worth it though. Like, man, did she make that easier. The stage ends after you beat the enemy. I would have never guessed. Actually, with the way FGO is, that is not always, like, that actually is, like, how do I put it, like, information, right? Because, like, sometimes the stage ends before that. So if that was, like, true, then you are aware that the stage doesn't end early. Wow, that's not something you see very often. Well, even at that low level, she does have her debuff clear, but I don't know if that's worth. Ay, ay, ay. This account is pretty limited for this fight, honestly. Hans is okay. Maybe she's fine. I don't know where you want to put her, though. Let's see, I think he's got a lot of single target attacks, so George is actually okay, and George can actually eat some of the debuffs, I think. Okay, bring Atlas. I guess we'll use the defense up. What to bring, what to bring. This really is a good song. Dude, why is Uchi MP1? I can't even believe that. Like, that's crazy. Oh god, Ricky Boy's only got 20% damage up. Yeah, I cannot believe that my Uchi is that weak. That is absolutely ridiculous. I can't remember if he drains the NP of the back row or not. Okay, real quick. Real quick. Maybe we'll get Uchi, right? Right, guys? Kojiro, though. I mean, you know, it could have happened. That really would have been incredible if I could have gotten NP2 Uchi. Oh, damn it. UI hell. Let me just burn. That's not burning. Do inventory management off stream. Gotta remember to actually play this account. Bet your Ryder Canis can solo this pretty easy. Monument Lottos are like the worst thing ever. Like, no one wants those. Like, you only want monuments when your account is new. And 95% of people playing lotteries are not new. So if you want to help new players out, you give them other ways to get monuments. You don't waste a fucking lottery on it. Like, that's just terrible. Like, this is my only account that I need monuments on, and it's because I've barely played in it super new. You know, I've got like 80 accounts, and none of them need monuments. Like, it takes no time to get to that point. You know, my main account is sitting... I don't even... I do not even buy monuments from event shops. And my main account has got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. Right? You just get them from doing farming stages over time and, you know, this, that, and the other. And then maybe if you bought them from the event shops early on. But yeah, that's like the worst thing ever to put in a lottery. That's why they don't do it, though, because people complain so much. Because it was so crappy. I don't have enough hard survival on this team. His NP is gonna like murder me. This is gonna be bad because we have like no event bonus. So a million health gonna take a second. All right, well we'll start off with that. Get that ball rolling. I think I taunt. All right, let's see what we can get gain wise for Ricky. At least Ricky's got the 20% damage bonus. That's something. Dude, this boss music. I'm so glad I beat that boss the other day. Dude, that's a hard boss, man. Awakened Alma from Ninja Gaiden. It'll kill ya. Maybe we can get a lucky crit here. Yeah, it's definitely a get good boss. Oh, most of the bosses, to be honest, in Ninja Gaiden are get good bosses. It's kind of how that game is. But Alma definitely is a step up. She should have summoned Ghostfish instead of those trash mobs. That would be so awful, dude. You'd be like, they'd spawn, you wouldn't notice, and then one just grabs you and you're like struggling to get out, and then she just like smacks you in the face. Terrible. Don't worry, guys. It's a dragon. That's actually kind of useful, though, because it let me do an art chain. George doesn't have attack foes, but he does have some bond, so he'll do a bit. And 24, alright. Honestly, if he was level 65, he had attack foes, and then he was like a little bit more bond than that even, he'd actually contribute a solid amount. The nice thing is he's just taking the debuffs, although he's also taking all the NP gain. I don't actually need to use that Merlin. Do I want to... Nah, I'll make the stars. I was thinking about saving it, but it's fine. Alright, let's see if Ricky's gonna be able to do any loopy stuff here. I'm hoping he gets an art card. George has triple NP damage down. He's got one. Do I want to remove that? He can remove it himself, but he'd have to do the art card first. This is tricky. Okay, I'm definitely doing that. I don't think I remove it. It sucks because, you know, you want to do as much damage as possible, but that's a lot of NP gain. Hans, you missed the attack buff, which would have offset the NP down. Hans, please! You had one job here! That is not a lot of damage. That is not a lot of damage. Oh boy. Now, how much damage do I think Goetia is gonna do? Gotta do this. We looping though. We might need to put David on the front row if this does more damage than I'm thinking. That wasn't too bad. I probably didn't actually need to do the invulnerability there. Let's see. George is not contributing too much here though. If he was like higher up, it'd be better. Like if his first skill was 10, because then he'd be tankier, but then he'd also have more uptime on his taunt, so he'd be grabbing more debuffs. So he'd be dying slower, and he'd actually be taking more debuffs for us. Where here, he's tanky enough that he's not cycling, but doesn't have good enough uptime on his taunt to be taking as many debuffs as we want. No need to do Hans's third skill because he's gonna... Ricky's gonna get his NP anyway. Like right here, I really wish George had taunt because then I would know Ricky wouldn't get any debuffs. Yeah, everyone does neutral damage. Fucking Hans! Can you do anything for Ricky, please? Like, just... Jesus Christ! That's twice, and that time he didn't even land the defense buff. Why is he even here? He should be David. Fuck. Now we've got double attack down and NP down, and we don't have Hans's attack buff, so... Fantastic. Yeah, Martha would have been pretty cool here. I don't even know if I NP right now. Because he's got the last 3 turns. Goetia, you dick. If I had known he had that, I would have brought the command codes to remove it. Boy, we're gonna do some damage. Oh yeah, 4K, there it is. I might need to bring Ushi just because she has more bond, I think. Actually, I'm not really sure what my Ushi's bond is on my main account, but I would imagine it's higher than Ricky's. Well, we're in debuff hell. We really needed Martha upgraded. Like, she's not ready to go, unfortunately, but I should have gotten her ready to go, because just an occasional team clear of debuffs would be super handy. Could you... What? Oh, right. Right, I taunted. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. So now I have triple attack down and NP down. And also still no Hans attack up. Whew. Rough time. And Goetia still has double defense up. We're like tickling him right now. $28K. That's like St. George damage right there. Oof. Well, Hans did not contribute a lot, but that was mainly because he never wanted to land 80%. Got that George damage though. Thanks for nothing, Lance. I mean, he did his third skill. The third skill was okay, and the heal was okay. It was just, that was all we got. You absolutely, though, can bring a DPS that's not a rider if you want to bring someone that just has anti-debuff, like, you know, like Ku, right? Ku's really good here. But we didn't level Ku because chat's all, oh, you always level Ku. But, yeah, having a DPS that has debuff clear is really good. Ku's always good, though. Such a good investment. And actually, Proto Ku isn't too bad, because he's got the extra debuff resistance, but regular Ku is definitely better. I'd actually like him to hit Ricky one time, just so I get my NP here. Okay, of course not. Oh, there we go. Now, I could do the thing with Ricky, but, I don't think I want to do that right now. Yeah, I think you can get one more NP off, I think. I will say though, if Ricky had higher bond, Goetia would be dead right now. Ugh. Double NP down too. Man, this is not ideal. I might have to do David's second skill. Just to make sure Ricky survives. This sucks because if George's first skill was ranked up more, he could just do that to cover him. But yeah, it's not even ranked 6. George might need to be like Ushi or something. It's just that she's NP1. George really is good here though. It's just I'm not sure it's worth it if you have to either cycle him or have his first kill at a higher rank. The only thing I don't like about using Ricky this way here is it's right before the NP turn. I probably should have waited because yeah, I should have waited because Ricky couldn't die this turn because of George's taunt. So I should have done it on the turn that he NP'd, so my back row unit didn't get shot in the face. Like, waiting a turn would have been bad if I didn't have taunt, because then Ricky could die the normal way. But yeah, because of George, I should have waited. That's a pretty big mistake. Because now my back row unit has to deal with the NP, where if I had waited a turn, they wouldn't. And I was going to get the damage either way. Because now Ushi's got to waste her evade, where if I hadn't done it like that, she wouldn't. Yeah, when he does 10th ring, he goes down to 1 health, but he also NPs immediately, so if he wipes you, you lose. And when he does that, his NP does way more damage. We actually he might double NP. Yeah, there's a chance he'll 10th ring next turn. We actually, I think, are gonna lose. Yeah, I think we've lost. And it's actually because of what I did with Ricky. Because if I hadn't done that, I would still have this. But yeah, these are the last 3 units and they're all gonna die. So that was a huge mistake on my part. Using Ricky's NP like that. Like, I think a lot of people wouldn't even notice that. They wouldn't notice that's why we're losing, but that is absolutely why we're losing, is because I didn't wait a turn to use Ricky's NP. The only way we don't lose is if we kill him and we don't let him do 10th ring. Or we had, like, if, like, George had gotten his guts back or something. Oh, we are so fucked now. Because now he's got the defense. Yep, it's over. I don't think no matter what I do, I think I lose. I don't think there's anything I can do to win. I think I have to, like, yeah, no, there's no way. Yeah, we're completely fucked. I can wait one turn to NP and see if I can somehow get him low enough to one-shot him, but there's no way. Like, I don't have buffs, and he's got the defense buffs. I really I deserve that, though. Like, that Ricky play was really bad. So our only chance here is somehow one-shotting him. Which actually might have been possible if he didn't have the defense ups, but yeah, this ain't gonna happen. And what's gonna happen here is where he's gonna get kind of low, he's gonna 10th ring. Oh wow, that didn't do shit. Yeah, we wouldn't have killed him anyway. But yeah, now he's gonna 10th ring and we're gonna wipe. Actually, for some reason he's still not doing it, but I mean, he surely is going to. Goetia trying his best to throw right now, but okay, technically, because Goetia didn't do it there, I can technically win. Because I can invulnerability Ushi. I have to guess when he's gonna do it. Now, obviously, you could save Scum, right, and do it that way, but that's not legit. We don't do that. I'm trying to think if I NP with... I think he's gonna do it this turn, because I'm gonna NP with Martha, so I'll go for it. Now, he doesn't 10th ring at a specific health. That's something people think all the time, but it's just when he's low and after a certain amount of turns. But it's not a set health range. I've seen him do it at all. She did 5,000? Okay, I probably shouldn't have done it that turn. She crit for more than her NP did. Oh! Good enough. I feel like we got lucky there because Martha did not accomplish a lot. We definitely lucked out on that one because I could have so easily seen him like passing there and then doing it next turn. Woo, boy! So I wouldn't have had to gamble like that though if I had just used Ricky better. Because then I would have had Ushi's evade, and then I'd have the evade and the invulnerability, and then I would be safe. So if I had just not played like a scrub, I wouldn't have had to get saved by luck. Jesus. Yeah, if you're not getting carried, that fight is kind of nasty. Okay. We've beat 1.0, so now I can summon whatever I want from support. Now, and I can use Grails and all that now. Now, I'm still not going to summon like Merlin and Castoria and that kind of crap, but if we want to just like show off, you know, golds from Chad or use Beowulf or whatever, we can do that. I kind of want to do Lost Belts first, even though there's some pretty fun Epic of Remnants. I kind of want to do Lost Belts first because I want to beat Lost Belt 4 so I can try to get Asclepius and then use my SQ and then maybe get, you know, spooked by something random from Story Summon. Plot armor right there, by the way. Dude, I love that picture where the edited waiver on the other side of MASH. It's just the best thing ever. Because back then, you know, it was before all the other OP supports. And like the picture, like the way it's like spaced, it really kind of does need another person there. Like they're not quite center, so like, it was so good. Yeah, we'll Grail Stheno, obviously. Probably Grail Kojiro, just cause. Yeah, I remember Merlin was out when Goetia hit, like the Solomon event, but he was really new, and a lot of people hadn't leveled him yet, and a lot of people didn't realize how good he was yet. Like, because Merlin had like just come out when Solomon was a thing, so Waver was still very dominant. And I mean, Waver was still good even after Merlin became the meta because, you know, 50% battery. Waver's never been bad, right? Waver's old. Well, actually, when the day one of FGO, Waver didn't have the battery back then. I don't. It's still. I don't know if it was bad back then, but much better now. Okay, Mash is back in business now. Sadly, no rolling until Lost Belt 4. I'd like to go do Shimosa because, you know, Shimosa is the hard one when your, like, count sucks, but we really should do the Lost Belts up to 4. We'll probably go up to 4, and then we'll go fuck around with Epic at Remnant. Give me Ushi. Nope. Alright, how many grails do we got? 16. Jeez. Ten levels. Very nice. I don't know what else we're gonna grail. I'll probably hold on to him for now. Maybe Protoku. I don't know. We've already grailed him on the other account though. Could do Martha, Caesar, Leonidas. A lot of options. We'll see. See where Gilly is. All right. Let's do an account review. I think it's a good time to mix up the content here. Let me bring it up. All right. This is Pinzu. As you say, Pinzu 428. I think this is a flex account, but what are you gonna do? Okay. Doggo, that's a good way to start. All right, let's see. Hello, Green in chat. I started playing FGO in February 2020, thanks to the Babylon anime. This was my first gacha game. Only gacha game that's managed to make me log in and play for over 600 days. Jesus, was the Babylonian anime that long ago? Fuck me, dude. Fuck me. Was it that long ago? How old am I? That's crazy. Like what? I remember when, like, you know, the Leah, and yeah, how does Leonidas? Holy crap! How does Leonidas not have an animation update if it's been over 600 days? And like his episode aired right kind of early on, so it's probably been way more than that. What the hell? Dude, Leonidas fans used to be Zoomers, right? And they've been waiting so long, they're boomers now. Right? They're sitting there in their like rocking chairs on the porch, right? And they're like, yep, Leonidas animation update's coming tomorrow, I reckon, right? Jesus Christ. Dude, that sucks. That's like, my God, I cannot believe it's been that long. I cannot believe it's been that long. Where does the time go? I guess me yelling at the internet, that's where it goes. Okay. Mostly free to play, but I do GSSR. I mean, reasonable. Everyone does that, I would say. My account is nothing amazing, but I'm quite proud of it considering it's less than 2 years old. I love doing challenge quests, main story. I attract a certain crowd. Has anyone noticed that? I clearly attract a certain crowd, right? Like the average FGO player, I don't think has like the same priorities I do. But like, just everybody that sends in an account review is like, yeah, I really like, you know, main story and challenge quests. Like, and every once in a while someone doesn't, but almost all of them do. So it's kind of obvious I attract a specific crowd here. Anyway, I love doing challenge quests and main story. Enjoy using budget stuff here and there, but I also like using OP supports when needed. Guildfest just ended, and I'm just opening my boxes. So there's a lot of, so this was sent in a while ago. So there's a lot of new servants leveled. I apologize if some servants are at 111 or 444. This is a flex review, mainly because I consider I don't need much advice, but if you recommend leveling servant skills, go for it. Here's a picture of my cat. That is not a... Oh, it's in the back. Okay. That confused the hell out of me. I'm like, that is not a cat. But the cat is in the background, and there's the dog there. That's a way to mess with people. Extra, the reason why I mentioned I don't think I need much advice is because I play JP with my second account, and I think my NA should be able to handle everything so far. So I'm assuming this is the NA account then. But you've already played JP. We'll see. Yeah, good doggo. Good doggo just taking a nap there. Yeah, the cat's definitely up to something. As they always are. Okay, yeah, this is NA because you can read all the text. You have no gold or silver apples, but you got a lot of bronze. I'm guessing that's because of Guildfest. I gave all my apples to poor kids so they could eat. Oh, well, that's very honorable of you. I definitely didn't eat them all during Guildfest. You don't know, that would be greedy. You know, you gotta feed the kids. I got another 200 bronze apples after opening all my boxes. So although that might appear like you have a lot of extra AP, you really don't. 600 bronze apples disappear pretty quick. Enough for playing old bosses in the meantime, right? Yeah, you can definitely have for main story, right? Like repeating. Story replay win. That's what I'm saying every damn day. I can't even believe we don't have story replay at this point. It's just shocking. Okay, welfares are MP5. Yeah, pretty much I'll always assume welfares are MP5 unless stated otherwise. So orange, oh god, people making me guess, are yellow, future grail target, purple, favorite unit from this class, pink, MVP units, saved my ass when I used it when I was a noob. Okay, so the ones that are important are yellow, grail, which I mean, you know, that makes sense. And then purple is favorite, which I would think would also get grailed, but I don't know, maybe you're like me with the 5 stars. I don't know, yellow, orange, whatever, it's basically the same thing anyway. Okay, Dion was my tutorial role. She wasn't leveled for like 9 months. Bedivere is in P5, okay. Let's see, we've got pretty scuffed skill ranks for everything but Benny, who is your favorite saber, but not grailing. You're actually not playing on grailing any sabers. So I guess not the biggest fan of sabers. So, Saber Alter bailed you out when you were a noob. I'm guessing for like anything AoE related, because she is good even at NP1, because she's got that like higher NP multiplier. And then Okita's just disgusting. So mostly, I guess you just throw Benny at everything, and then you do AoE stuff with Saber Alter, and then you got Bedivere as backup, and I guess Okita too. So I'm guessing it's like Bedivere, Okita, Benny, and then everyone else you just leveled in Guildfest, but you didn't really bother leveling their skills because you don't really use them yet. Because that's my guess, is you really use Benny, Okita, and Saber Alter like a lot, and then Bedivere is your backup, and then like everything else is kind of just there. That would be my assumption here. But okay, no grail plans for sabers right now. David Test, where is the... Oh! He got it. There we go. Now see, this is what I'm talking about, right? My Stheno account is, you know, it's done 2 events ever, right? I barely touch it, and it's got David's second skill at 10. This guy's been playing for 2 years, so there's no excuse for not having David's second skill at 10. And he doesn't need an excuse because he did it, right? He's got it. Now let me skip ahead here. Although okay, I guess I won't skip ahead because he's got like actual effort put into the account. So I want to know if he's got what casters he's got, but we'll just have to go one step at a time here. Oh, look at this guy being nice and actually reminding me of the colors each picture, so I don't have to fucking remember all the time. So no grail plans for archers either. So far this guy doesn't seem to be big on the night classes. Green 3 doesn't play the game. Green 3 is the solo account that we summoned. That hasn't leveled a single unit other than Asterios, just cuz. So that doesn't fucking count. If I was actually playing that account, it would have David's second skill at 10. And actually, that account might actually be able to do it if it wanted to. But yeah, that account doesn't do anything. Fun fact, Excelente was my first NP5 4-star. It took me forever to NP5 any 4 stars. It took a very long time for that to happen for me, but over time, you know, I've been playing for so long, it just happens, right? You get spooks and stuff. And NA and Nyalter was my first MP5 on JP, so much cat hype apparently. I don't know if that's because you're rolling on her or you're just getting spooked a lot, or both. I don't know. Okay, so Robin bailing you out and then David bailing you out. That's pretty normal. Like, dude, the Stheno account, David has gotten a lot of mileage. Okay, so I'm guessing you basically used David and Robin when you were new, and then like Atalante. How did you? I guess if wait, how do you have Chloe? Was Chloe rated? Was like the rerun after the Babylonia anime? I don't know, man. Time is all. I don't like keep up with NA much, so I guess the rerun was after the Babylonia anime, because he said he didn't start until the Babylonia anime, so rerun was after. Okay, so that's how he's Chloe. But that you probably already were playing for a bit, I assume. I don't know how. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't fucking remember. Right? Maybe the rerun was like a month after Babylonia, and this guy's had Chloe the entire time. But I assume he didn't have her right off the get-go, and it was like Robin, David for a while, and he was maybe got Atalante, and then a lot of this other stuff he didn't really level until recently from Guildfest. It's not even memory. It's more like I didn't play NA actively at all at that point, right? I played NA actively in the early days, but I don't play it anymore. So I have no idea where the rerun was relative to the Babylonia anime. Like, not a clue. I don't see a lot of people that got into FGO because of the Babylonia anime. What I actually see more of is people got into the Babylonia anime because of FGO, which actually I think was the point. But, you know, it happens in reverse some too. Okay, so we got a big Tomoe goes in, decent skill ranks, and then Chloe's skill ranks are maxed, and Atalante's in pretty good shape. So that's like your backbone, right? Is you've got, for single target Chloe and Tomoe goes in, AoE you've got Atalante, and then kind of Emiya on the side, and then I would hope a Rosh. Yeah, you got a Rosh. So yeah, it's Atalante and a Rosh, and then your budget like backup stuff is just David and Robin, and that's more than good enough. I mean, you're completely prepared. You can handle like any situation with this roster. Like you said, your NA account can handle anything that's been on JP and over the next 2 years, right? And so far that's true, but we'll see. We haven't. I'm not convinced about Fluffy yet, but I guess I mean Elkita is fine for Fluffy, but an NP1 that would definitely be tough. But we'll see what we got here. Still no Grail targets tagged so far. Okay, Enkidu is awesome. I will grab him MP2 with second SSR ticket. Okay, well there's. Okay, Fluffy's dealt with. You're ready. Not only do you have Enkidu, but he's level 100. And really, he only needs to be 90, but it's even easier if he's 100. And he's 10-10-10. Okay, so Fluffy's in the bag. Also, Fluffy isn't the only thing Enkidu is good for, right? Enkidu can carry against like every single boss in Lost Belt 5-2. Right, Demeter, I'm pretty sure he can just solo Demeter. Everything in Lost Belt 5-2 has Divinity. So, Enkidu is insane there. He can solo Aphrodite. Liz was my tutorial role. Well, she has good AoE, honestly. Banana is new, so she's been added to the pick. So she looks weird. Oh, okay, so she was like patched in after the fact. Let's see though, what do we got? So Enkidu is literally the only single target Lancer you'll ever need. You got Ku for backup. You're done, right? Like your single target's done unless you just want to level something else. So you've got that completely covered. You got MP2 Pravati for AoE, that's really good. You've got Liz, but her NP rank is bad. So Fionn is NP5, but because his skill ranks are low, I'm assuming you just by coincidence got spooked by him like crazy. But legitimately, I would if I was me, I would level him because the rest of your Lancers are fine. But you know, AoE is a little lacking, even though Pravati's so strong. But Fionn is so good. Like Fionn is so good for farming. He is a steep investment though because he needs really high skill ranks just for him to like work properly. So you get rid of the RNG on his evade, and you get the gain rate that you want to loop and everything. But he's really good. An NP5 Fionn is so good. He'll make so much farming easier, and he's good for a lot of challenge quests and all that too. You don't have to do it though, because you do have Pravati and things like that. I'm assuming you're gonna have Spartacus and stuff. And it kind of also comes down to if you want to get like Castoria down the line and things like that, or if you already got Scatty to work with Pravati, right? But it's something to keep in mind. Fionn is very good. He's just a high investment. But your account, a lot of the accounts we see, you know, they're not in places to do like luxury level ups. But this account is. You know, your fundamentals are already there. So, you know, Fionn makes a lot of sense. All right, so it looks like Ku is what you used in the early days. That's pretty, I'm assuming you didn't even have Enkidu back then. So that's pretty standard for Ku to just murder everything on a new account. Still no Grail targets, so no Grail targets for any of the Knight classes. So this guy, I'm assuming, is big on Cavalry classes or extra classes. I know a lot of people like extra classes a lot because the waifus, but okay, no Grail targets for Rider either. What do we got here? Got Max Da Vinci. What do we got here? Vinci Da Vinci is 2K foe. Tried for MP2, but no luck. Ozzy will be my pick for the first 5-star ticket. Imagine is a bit old, but Medusa and Alex are 444 now. Okay, so you've got no problems for Demeter between Enkidu, Ivan, and Ushi, that kind of stuff. No, literally, you have no problems dealing with Demeter. You'll be totally fine. It's just a matter of like putting the units up in a reasonable way. So I'm guessing you got Trap Face pretty early on, and he's probably done a lot of good for you for farming because of the battery. Like no joke. Because you've got that skill leveled up. So between that, Medusa, Orage, that actually gives you a lot of good farming options, so that's pretty good. Let's see here. Oh, I like how you got the Demeter in the bottom there. Oh yeah, Da Vinci's already grailed, but you know, literally, he's got. My point is, he's got this grail tag, and nothing's been tagged this entire time, because it's for future grails. It doesn't. Obviously, there's no point for ones that are already grailed, but because you know, Enkidu's grailed, but you know, there's no grail plans for anything right now. Wait, are we missing some classes? I think we're missing Assassin. Oh, okay, no, it's after. Okay, I was like, what the fuck? Okay, what do we got here though? We got Casters, no Grail plan. I'm surprised you even included future Grail target here because you don't have any. There aren't any. I'd say my account is super lucky because getting all the OP supports took very little SQ. So let's see, you've got Scatty, Waver, Merlin, Tam, and they're all 10, 10, 10. So yeah, you're kind of good. You got Chen Gong, Hans, Mozart, good skill ranks, terrible skill ranks on Avisibron, but you don't really need it considering what this account has. If you want to do budget stuff, maybe level Hohenheim. That's about it though. This is a really stacked account. Like Jesus Christ. I'm trying to think if there's like anything like, do you have Asclepius? Yes, you have Asclepius. You got Cersei too. So did you have Martha? No, he doesn't got Martha. So yeah, a little weak on the like options for anti-debuff, but I mean Asclepius is so good it's normally enough. But like all your anti-debuff is Caster. Unless, did you have Tristan? No, you didn't have Tristan. So you're not the best options for anti-debuff, but I mean you'll be fine. And you've got Merlin and Waver, so it doesn't matter too much. Okay, so that's like, you got 2K foe and all that, so I know you might not like her. Yeah, I don't like shooting at all. She's like at the absolute bottom of my list. But she's really good. Like, she's actually really good. She scales very well, and she's very versatile because you got good damage, even if you need to do single target stuff. You get AoE, NP obviously, and then you got a lot of utility and whatnot, so she's very practical. Let's see, game playing in early February last year, and she had a banner in like 2 weeks. I played the story and saved all the SQO. Let's see, what's your NP rank? NP 5, Jesus Christ. I waited for solo raid up and decided to do some drunk summons. That's never a good idea. I got my first copy in 90 SQ, and at the time I didn't know how good NP levels were, so I thought I was wasting SQ if I kept going, but thank God I was drunk because I decided to roll a bit for fun and got another 2 copies pretty fast. Also got K-Scope. I'm guessing you got the other copies in later. During Only Land rerun, I got the final 2 copies, all free to play too, cinch the unit. Yeah, it's totally possible to NP5 units though as a free to play. Normally you're gonna have to do it over more than one banner, but if you save up, it's totally doable. So she's got 15,000 attack, and then you'll have your CE, so that's pretty good. And I see you're giving her faux pas, so that kind of helps if it's a single target situation. All right, what do we got here? I like how you've got favorite unit and early carry on on shooting there. I almost said Raiko, getting my weebs confused. I don't know if she counts as a weeb though. I mean, she's obviously, you know, Japanese legend, but you know, she's not. They're not that. No, Raiko's pretty weeby actually. Raiko's pretty weeby. She's got like the samurai shoulders and a katana. You know that's pretty max weeb. All right, let's see. No Grail targets here either. Carmela, Kojiro, Fujinori are 444 now. I mean, that's just nothing. You know, 444 is not a big deal. Got Shiki, got 100 face, 666, pretty respectable. And if with shooting, you're not gonna really need a lot of assassins. I imagine it's like shooting all the time, and then if you need backup, you got Shiki and 100 phase, and then if you need a different card color, you've got like Jack, which I assume is NP1. Even though my shooting is NP5, I still won't be able to get all of her at... Oh, yeah, not enough coins. Let's see, I guess you need what? Maybe 2 more, and if you get her bond up more, that'll help. Here's the thing, you've got, let's see, you got like, what, a year and a half? Actually, no, you have less than that, don't you? No, it's about a year and a half. You got about a year and a half. And in a year and a half, you can probably get her to like bond, you know, 12. It depends. I mean, obviously, if you like go whale mode and start like, you know, refreshing your AP all the time, you can get more than that. But reasonably, you can get like bond 12, maybe bond 13, maybe even bond 13 and a half, right? Depending. And so that'll be more coins. So you should be in like decent shape. I'm trying to think though. Yeah, I think even if you get bond 15 though, you're going to need at least 1 or 2 more copies. I can't remember how many it is. It's either NP6 or NP7. Okay, you obviously don't need to level anything here though. You've got Kurutsugu though, if you ever need the targeted taunt stuff. You got Wu as backup quick support, but you've got Scatty, so I mean, I don't think that's ever going to be necessary. Okay, what do we got here? No future Grail targets here, and no one's Grailed either, so not the biggest fan of Berserkers, apparently. No 10-10-10s either. I actually think Berserker seems like your least favorite class then, because you've got none of them are Grailed, none of them are future Grailed, and none of them are 10-10-10, so I guess you're not hyping the Berserkers there too much. Hijikata was my first 5-star. I got him in GSSR, and at the time I was a bit sad. I remember looking at the tier list. Oh yeah, that's never worth a damn. And he said he was bad, new player, mistake. But now he's really good. I must have been at media. That must have been at media. But oh boy, he grew on me, and he's one of the most fun units to use in the game. Okay, well I guess you do like a Berserker then. Oh, he's actually a Grail target. I see there. He's got all 3 stripes. I want to Grail him next, so I guess that's because I didn't see much else that was going to even be Grail. I like how you actually have future Grail and shooting, but she's already 100. But I'm guessing that means 120. But that doesn't really come into play for a very long time. And it's like, what are you gonna do? Save the Grails and then Grail her to 120, then Grail Hijikata, right? I don't think so. But yeah, I remember everybody thought Hijikata was bad back in the day, but he's quite good. I like how chat has like 1 brain cell right now. It's getting really annoying. It's like, I'm not even gonna go into this right now. Let's see. Mango test. Red's making that a thing apparently. Definitely didn't pass that one though. Alright, what do we got here? Okay, maxed mash. And you got maxed, what's her name? King Potato Chips. Jesus Christ, though. That's level 100, NP2, 10-10-10. That's pretty good. Kiara is by far the unit who carried my early game the most. I wonder when you got her then. Having a nice alter ego at the start is awesome. King Protea must be protected at all costs. Snake is also 444 now. I'm guessing you mean Gorgon. That's the only thing here that would be snake related. Let's see. You got your bases pretty covered here. Honestly though, it would be worth it to level Gorgon skills because you don't have a good Avenger, and Angra's not a good Avenger, and Antonio's not a good Avenger. So if you ever need to melt a ruler for one reason or another, it is good to have that in your back pocket. Now, you've got enough Berserkers that really it's not that big of a deal. I mean, between Masashi, Jerker, Hijikata, Herc, right? You can probably deal with the rulers and stuff, but you never know. There can be weird gimmicks out there from time to time, and that's like one of the only like gaps in your lineup I see. So it's not bad to level Gorgon just to be safe. She's not the best Avenger, but she's really the only good one that you have. Okay, I want that NP3 Luvia. Oh yeah, 4-star tickets. Too bad we don't get those anymore. Does NA even get another one? I don't think they do. It doesn't matter. Kiara's passive is not half as good as actually being an Avenger. Like it's not half as good. Actually, it's almost exactly half as good when you think about it. But there is like sure, Kiara's fine for fighting rulers, but she is never as good as a good Avenger against a ruler because she's not as tanky. And she's still AoE and she's still utility based. Now she's still really good. Like, of course she's good for killing rulers, but so are all of the Avengers, and they're definitely better at doing it. Generally speaking, depends on the fight because sometimes like the utility is really good, but there's no sometimes, especially if they make new stuff down the road. You never know what you're going to come across, and having an Avenger a lot of times is good, right? If you have an established account, right? Because the thing, this is not a new account, right? If this guy had like almost nothing leveled, it wouldn't really matter. But when you have an account this prepared, you can do stuff like that. You've got the leeway to do whatever you want. So in case they do add like some crazy boss down the road or a challenge quest, or you do have a hard time with like Joan of Arc in 4.5 or whatever, it's good to have an Avenger and just have that option. Because like, what else are you gonna level, right? That account doesn't need to level anything really. So you might as well. Me looking for the next 4-star ticket. Yeah, I think they will do another 4-star ticket because I don't think they're going to do another 5-star ticket. I don't think they're ever doing that. I mean, well, maybe like way down the line for like a hype thing. But because of the permanent 5-star ticket, I don't think they're going to bother. Okay, I feel like leveling CEs is the most FGO thing I've seen. Wait, what? I feel like leveling CEs is the most FGO thing I've seen. I don't know what that means. It takes hours to level 1 CE to 100. Oh yeah, if you just mean how bad the UI is, yeah, it's really terrible. I don't even know why they haven't made it better. I don't understand. Like the amount of time that it takes is really unnecessary, and it's just really clunky. But yeah, welcome to FGO in like every department. So I'm assuming that's what you mean. I leveled Painting Summer to 100 because it helps Da Vinci and shooting a lot. Also, 1.6 HP gives pretty nice. Looking forward to leveling any CE anytime soon. I'm guessing you have a lot of CE bombs then. Let's see, you've got, I'm surprised you leveled the Suzuka Gozen one to 100 because it's not that good, but aerial drive's good. Painting Summer's good for like the units you like using. You got that U one, but you've already got aerial drive, so not really necessary. No super scope yet, but that's not that big of a deal. I would level some stuff that, isn't starting NP. It's good to have that in your back pocket. Like maybe the Guts one, level the Guts one some. You don't have to take it to 100, but it's good to have a Guts CE leveled up a bit. Black Grail, Art of Death. If you get the Yang CE, you got that. Those kinds of things. Formal Craft occasionally. Having those can be pretty handy. I rolled 700 SQ trying to MLB. Trying to MLB a sign of smiling face? I have no idea what that is. I have literally no idea what that is. Managed to get 4 copies. I'm guessing that's the that loopy one. Yeah, you've got it there, 51. Yeah, I have no idea what that thing is called. It's not a very, it's a good CE, but it's not one you see very often. I did get like 7 SSRs, so I can't complain, but I'm still a bit salty. Dude, you want to hear some salt when it comes to CEs? I have tried so hard to get that, like, whatever sand CE with Gilgamesh and Enkidu on it, because it'd be fun on Billy and stuff, because it's got Star Absorb and crit damage. And I rolled hard when Arthur was rated up, and that CE was rated up with Arthur, and I did not get it, like, at all. And then you could pick a free CE from White Day, and I picked it, so I needed less copies of it to limit break it. And then you could pick it again a few years later, and I picked it again, and I still don't have it limit broken. It's ridiculous. I'm not even close. I think I only got like those like 2 copies, and I maybe gotten 1 other copy when I rolled on Arthur. So I need 2 more copies to limit break it, which will probably never happen. And yeah, I spent like 1,000 SQ on that or whatever. It's like bullshit. Okay. Let's see. So you got good old ley line. You got star bomb there. I'm trying to see if you got like a limit broken art of death, because that'd actually be kind of handy on this account. I don't see it though, and if you do have it, you didn't level it like at all. I see that Caneth. Trying to see if you got formal craft. A lot of like the staple. Okay, anti-berserker. That's good. That's good for Fluffy down the line. Did you have the Arjuna one? Because you can always buy the Arjuna anti-divinity one from Rare Prisms. Do you have Pierce and Vulnerability stuff? Not seeing much. You got that anti-debuff one, the Joan of Arc one. That's good. Oh yeah, poster crawl. I did some singles when this banner was released and got Okita, but I didn't know how strong the CE was, and I wish I had rolled more. Yeah, it feels bad. It's really good, and not only is it good, but it gives you just so many like team options, like setups that you just could never do without it. So it like unlocks a lot of like new stuff. Okay, so what that's why you had fuck all Grail targets, because they're not in the game yet for the most part. So I guess you're grailing Say. Is Say out on NA yet? I don't think so. I think she's soon though. What was that event with her? What was that? Because she got added into like, there was like no story, I remember. So it should be like soon. And then we got Ibuki. You got a while on Ibuki. Ibuki's like a year and some change. Right? It's like you still got a while on that one. But so you are going to go for Castoria. How much art stuff did you have? I think you had what was it? Now Benny's quick. That's you got Da Vinci. Like, there's art stuff, but I'm trying to think if there's any, like, you know, really big ones, because obviously you got Robin and such. But I'm trying to see. You got Crazy Eyes, but she's not, like, super maxed. I got Shootin's art, and she's maxed. You got Castergill, but he's not maxed. You got plenty of art stuff. You just don't have the only ones that are like, you know, super strong is like Shootin, really. Musashi's on the way though. Like Musashi's 8-10-8 and MP2, so that's a big one. And Musashi with Castoria is just so good for farming. Let's see. Got Lee, 100 face, but they're not maxed. You got that Fionn earlier, like I was saying. Fionn really would be good if you did take him to 10-10-10, because if you got, you know, big boy Fionn with Castoria. The only servants though that are 10-10-10 and art, I think, is Shootin and Da Vinci. And then there's not that many art units at all, and then all the other art units are not 10-10-10 yet. But honestly, Musashi and Shootin alone with Castoria, that can work against just so much stuff. It's not really that big of a deal. And you've got Merlin for your Hijikata there. And if you want to do budget stuff, you've got Chen Gong. You don't have Shakespeare yet, though, I don't think. So that's another thing you could level if you wanted to do more budget stuff for Hijikata. Because you said you liked Hijikata a whole lot. Although not 10-10-10 yet, so gotta work on that one. Although it says you got the mats to make him 9-9-9, so you could get him 10-10-10 really soon. And hell, maybe he is now, because these were sent in a while ago. Okay, what do we got here? Wait. Oh, this is JP. I was like, what? I was like, what is going on here? Oh, this is what you use for Fluffy. Yes, Scath's pretty solid there. Fluffy might be my favorite fight in the game. Definitely not my favorite fight. I like it because you still have to try, but I don't like it because there's just like a lot of arbitrary like stat checky elements to it, and he's not that complicated, right? Like no offense to Fluffy, but he's not complicated, right? Like what you actually do to win is very straightforward, right? There's not a lot of big brain strats. It's mainly just having enough value on the team to meet the requirement, make sure you have the damage when his shields are down, and you know, so on and so forth, right? It's not that, I don't find it that engaging. I don't hate the fight either though. It's kind of in the middle, right? It's fun because it is so you know, demanding stat-wise, but it's not the most like intricate in terms of like gimmicks and syncing things up and planning, and it doesn't reward a whole lot of different stuff. It's pretty, the kind of things that excel or don't excel there is extremely straightforward, right? When you look at like all the whale teams that do it, they're all very similar. Even if they're using different units, the concept is almost always the same. And we look at budget teams, same thing, right? They have to budget teams have to approach it a little differently, but almost every budget team for Fluffy is extremely similar in its execution, right? The concept is almost always the same. There's not a lot of diversity there, so because of that, it's definitely not my favorite. But I do like the music, and it's still fun. I don't hate the fight at all, and you know, it's very rewarding to beat it. And yeah, Fluffy himself is really cool. So Fluffy might be my favorite fight in the game. He's the real first fight that I had to try and change team comps and min-max. See, I imagine the reason for that, though, is because you were using a lot of the stronger stuff, because that's kind of why Fluffy is the way that he is, though, because they're trying to recapture the way like a lot of the older fights were earlier in the game when people didn't have so much OP stuff. But now there's just so much OP stuff, you know. That's the whole thing about Fluffy is like most people, even though they had the units to beat it, they had no idea how to like line the units up to make it work. So a lot of people had to like, you know, try over and over again to try to figure out what the right like combo was. Because even if they had the disgusting stuff, if they weren't, you know, put in the right spots, they would still just die. It took me 50 tries to beat him, and I used different teams, and this is the one that did the trick. Yeah, Scath is really good for that fight. She's not as good as Enkidu, but she's still really good for that fight. She has huge damage, and she has the hard survival, and she can work just fine with Castoria and other battery units and whatnot. Let's see. Includes 4 of my Grailed units, so that's nice. It's a gas comp. And some heavy RNG, I tried. Yeah, I mean, a lot of setups are going to have RNG if they don't have like really like min-max stuff. Just because, you know, Fluffy can randomly attack a million times and murder you, or crit 3 times in a row and crap like that. I tried more stall teams, but no way my JP could handle Fluffy so long, so I decided to go for a fast comp. Actually, if you had Castoria, there might have been a way you could have made something stall work. Depends. The main thing that makes stall work against Fluffy, or something stall-ish, is Merlin. Is the story support Castoria with Merlin. That generally works pretty well. You normally don't want to full-on stall Fluffy, though. You want to just, like, go maybe slower than normal, but you still almost always want to incorporate a degree of murder, because that's just kind of the way the fight is. Wow, on turn 6. Here's how the fight went. Turn 1, what's her name? Vinch buffs Scath. Scath breaks. Yeah, that makes sense. Evade Castoria, let Scath and Tam die. I'm surprised you let Scath die, actually, because Scath can go a while if you need to. But I guess you use twin loopy stuff, because then you had double Castoria for the twins. No, you're actually doing it for the dragon, so I guess the twins just coming at the end to clean up. Turn 4. So yeah, just NP with her over and over and over. Twins buffer with the second skill. Turn 6, twins finish the job. No Q. Interesting. I'm guessing it's mostly Lolly Dragon, and that's why I guess she has Black Grail, and then the twins just clean up when everyone else dies at the end. Oh, best doggo again. Thanks for the view. Hope you and chat like my account. As I said, it's nothing amazing. It's in good shape. Like, you made good picks here. I don't think there was any like bad decisions or anything. I'm really happy with how it's shaping to be. Also wanted to thank you because watching your streams, I've learned how fun CQs can be and hard fights can be. Can be. I use CS in the main story. I'm guessing like back in the days what you're saying in CQs because I didn't care about them. Well, that explains the Fluffy thing. I'm just saying. But I'm proud to say that I've not used CS since Bull of Heaven. I love that fight so much. I managed to beat without CS thanks to my strong assassin slot. You know what you can always do with challenge quests is you can always CS them on your first, just to clear it. And then if you want to get back to farming or whatever, like save your AP. And then once you're done with the shop, you're like, okay, now I don't need my AP anymore. Now I can go fight that challenge quest again. And now I'll try without CS just for fun, right? So it's nothing wrong with using CS. But it is really rewarding to beat stuff without them and try to get better at the game. It's like, progressing to excellence, if you can, strive for that, is, fun for some people anyway. It is fun for me, certainly. But some people hate it. Let's see. At level 100, 2K Folk King of Song from support list. Oh, what was that for Bull of Heaven? Because King of Song's pretty good there. He's not the best assassin for that fight, but he is really, really good there. Okay, that's the last picture. But yeah, nice doggo. Too bad you don't have Lobo to go with that. I think that's the last picture. Okay, but yeah, your account looking good. I can't remember if NA actually gets another chance at Poster Girl or not. I think you do, because at some point, not that long ago, like within like the last year and a half, I think there was like this banner for JP where they rated up like every limited CE ever. But so the odds of getting a specific one were just unbelievably bad. But you could theoretically, whale like a motherfucker and get Poster Girl there. I think that's why they did it though, is so those few desperate whales that missed those key CEs from the past that they really want would spend thousands of dollars to get them. I think that's why they did it. I think the average player didn't like spend any, wouldn't do anything on those banners. It was like that AoE banner too. Remember when they made that AoE banner? That was like bait for like desperate whales that started playing later and they missed those like summer waifus like Nero. Right? It was like a way for them to get them out of nowhere. And so out of desperation some people would actually do it, which sucks, but DW, man. Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't know Poster Girl was good back in the day. I think that was like standard, really. I remember on NA watching whales burn it because they didn't think it was good. Oh, good times. Okay, we'll go ahead and start a little bit of Lost Belt 1. Probably we're not going to finish it today by any means, but we can get a bit done. Hey, Looking Glass, thank you for the 43 months. That's a long time. Wait, this is not Lost Belt 1. This is Epic of Remnant 1, excuse me. We gotta do this. Oh god, we have to do the prologue. This is like a million, like nothing stages. And a lot of 0 AP stages. I never get why they do like multiple 0 AP stages in a row. You can just make it one longer visual novel segment, right? Like, they already have scene switches in, chapters, right? Like in a single node, they've already got times where they like, jumps around and like maybe shows the bad guys and shows the good guys or vice versa. So there's no reason to do this many in a row like this. It's just loading screens. Oh yeah, these guys are really cool. Good old level 40 mash. I should have brought default, but they don't actually give you a choice to change your mystic code. It's just whatever's on the team that you use last, which is kind of silly. You can just give multiple SQ at once. Also, if they had a UI worth a fuck at all, if you didn't have time to read all of them, you can just like have segments that you can click through at the bottom like a regular visual novel. There's nothing about the game engine that can't handle that. And there's other games that literally do that, right? This is not rocket science, right? This isn't some like nuanced take. This is just basic functionality. And that's like the problem with FGO. Anytime they have like a problem, like you just said, instead of addressing it in a elegant way, they always brute force it like a monkey. That's always how FGO is. Like whenever they want to fix their UI and have to put air quotes around that, they fix it in like the stupidest way possible instead of like actually fixing the UI. They like tack on shit to what's already there. And like that's just like they're always like that in FGO. Like it's very unelegant, right? That's very much how FGO tries to patch things. Because yeah, when you want to give out SQ, you just give all the SQ at once. and there's way better ways to separate like story segments or let people skip between chapters and stuff within a one segment on its own, right? Like, there's no need for this. Like, this is just loading screen hell. And you know, a lot of people like the story and whatnot, and that's totally fine. But some people don't care about the story, and then you also have like where I'm at, where I've already seen the story, you know, and this is just an alt account. And you know, theoretically, they should have story replay, and then when you're replaying the story, you shouldn't have to deal with that over and over again. And like Arknights came up with a pretty, you know, elegant solution to this problem. You know, literally after you've already done a stage, you don't even see the story bit. It's a little next to the stage on the map. There's a little thing you can click if you want to watch the story again. But if you're like failing the stage over and over because you're losing to the boss, or you just want to go back and replay the stage for fun, it just does the stage, right? It skips the story stuff entirely, and then because you've already seen it. And then if you're like, oh, I want to see the story, there's a little thing you can click, and then you can do that, and that's that, right? That's way better than how FGO does it. That's such a problem too. Like if you look at Lost Belt 6, it is so awkward when you remove the time gates. Like because they start like recapping the story, like what happened 5 seconds ago and stuff. It's not good. Yeah, and the calendar thing. It would be nice if they optimized the game more for the loading screens to be faster, but that is harder to fix than some of the other issues, because that does have more to do with like under the hood game engine stuff. But it would be possible for them to do that, and they did it actually once in the past, but it only helped a little bit. And some games actually, you know, I'm actually kind of surprised they haven't done this because FGO's made so much money. But there have been video games that have switched game engines, right? You know, different game engines can support the same art assets and things like that. It's a lot of work, though. It's a lot of work to transfer all of your art assets and you know, voice lines and, you know, gameplay mechanics and stuff and switch them over to a completely different game engine. And like, again, some games have done it, and I think FGO should have done it. Because they're, you know, Unity is not that good of a game engine. It isn't. It's just kind of cheap and easy to use, but it's ultimately old and clunky and not that great. But a lot of like indie devs and stuff like that, or even AAA devs, it wouldn't be financially like reasonable to switch game engines because it takes a lot of time and effort. And like in DW's case, you probably have to hire new staff to handle the technical side of it. But because they make so much money, and because their game engine is so bad, it would have, I think it absolutely would have been worth it for them to bite the bullet at some point, like years ago, and, you know, switch over to a new game engine. I think that absolutely would have been worth it. I don't know if it's worth it anymore, because the game is so far in now, but, like, you know, 3 or 4 years ago, I think they should have done it. But most of the issues FGO has are fixable within the game engine that they have, right? And like there's other games that use the Unity game engine, and they're able to do things like a lot of them do have smoother UIs and stuff than FGO does, and you know, they're able to have decent loading screens and whatnot. But for real, Unity is not a great game engine. I actually am surprised so many devs still use it. It's not as common as it used to be. I remember like in the early 2000s, like 2005, crap like that. It was just everywhere. Like so many games would use Unity, and they would run like dog shit. Like Vandictus uses Unity, and it has all kinds of problems because of it. Not as many problems as FGO, I would say, at this point, but Unity's a bit better today also than it used to be. They have updated it and whatnot. It's not as bad, but it really boggles my mind how that game engine gets as much attention as it does. Well, you know, now like you've got Unreal, which is free until you make a certain amount of money, and so if you never make it big, you never have to pay Unreal in Unreal Engine anything. But if you do, I think, sell like over 1 million copies or make over a certain amount of money or whatever, then you do. But FGO is, you know, so profitable that they could use whatever game engine they wanted, right? And so they could pick a game engine that, you know, supports the game at its best, so it runs smoother. They can and here's the thing, this is a real problem in the game industry, and I imagine this is not unique to the game industry, but I follow the game industry the closest, so I know it the best. And plenty of devs have talked about this. A lot of game companies, and a lot of times this is publishers' fault, but it can be the fault of developers, like higher up developers and companies as well. They're so short-sighted. They're so focused on having the next. They want the next earnings report to look as good as possible, and then the next earning report to look as good as possible. But that catches up with them, and in the long run, you just do it sucks, right? They're chasing short-term gains instead of like, but that'll always catch up with you, right? You'll always fall behind eventually. The mistakes you make will get, yeah, Blizzard's a good example of that, but there's plenty of companies that do this. And for example, this is how it can mess you up, like in FGO's case. Now I'm pulling numbers out of my ass here, but I'm just using this as an example. So let's say DW decided to, or they're thinking about even updating the game engine. So they're looking at, okay, we don't have a lot of technical know-how for this, so we'd have to hire a couple of veterans to help with it. We might have to pay, you know, to get the game engine, right? Because you know, licensing and all that. Or we have to, you know, R&D and make our own game engine, right? And that's going to take man hours and stuff, and that's money, and time is money. So, you know, we're going to have to, there's costs, right? There's costs in either updating the game engine or making your own or any of that. There's going to be costs, and it can be hefty. And also switching game engine means you can't update the game as much while you're doing it. You can, but not as much, right? So your players are going to be unhappy for a little while, you know, for like maybe a month or two, depends on like how well you do on switching it over. And so in the short term, it's going to sting. It's absolutely going to sting. And so your next earnings report is probably going to look bad. But here's the thing, though, that money that you lost from like having to hire new developers or having to pay to use a different game engine or whatever, you know, whatever you had to do, and if you lost, you know, like you made less money from your players in that period, that lost money is going to catch up with you, though, even if you didn't spend it, because you didn't bite the bullet there. What can happen is, for example, like I highly suspect this is the case. I do not think DW has a very optimized like workflow from like, you know, making the updates and actually implementing them. You know, I don't know that for sure, but from what I've seen from like ex-employees have talked about it, and from the leaks, and just from what's happening, I don't think they have an even remotely efficient like chain here, and that costs them money. Having it won't like murder you on that very next earnings report. Like if you're just like losing a bit of money and it's a bit slow and things are a little unoptimized, right? You're not going to just immediately see the problem there. But over 6 years, the amount of lost time and money and resources from that end up outweighing by a lot, you know, biting the bullet that one time, right? And this happens with game developers constantly, where they're just so adverse to biting the bullet in the short term that they just keep using an inefficient, you know, game engine or an inefficient like employee structure or whatever it is, right? They just keep going and going and going with this inefficiency that in the long run it's a way worse. And I definitely think that's an issue for FGO, where they're just constantly trying to make their short-term profit as good as possible, and they're not thinking about, you know, the long-term longevity of the game, you know, and bringing in new players in the long run, having a good new player experience, you know, because they haven't done anything to make the new player experience better, right? They're always like, oh, just let them rush through the old story as fast as possible. Like that's going to get new people to play. Obviously it won't, right? You know, they haven't addressed power creep. You know, power creep has affected the early game massively, and it's made it boring and so easy, you know, and there's so many issues with the early game, and they've never invested in fixing any of that. They've really never invested into fixing their UI. They just keep doing like these token updates where it's like, oh, we're fixing the UI, but they're really not. They don't do a damn thing. You know, they're constantly doing stuff like that. You know, doing like the animation update for the fucking mailbox and like this band-aid fix for the command code UI, if you can even call it that. Instead of, you know, actually, you know, sitting down and redoing the UI from scratch and making it, you know, better. Alright, I think you just have to break the bar or something. I like how didn't get all of our buffs there, but what are you gonna do? So if I want a different Mystic code, I have to actually go, I have to like back up and go to the like the team screen that's not connected to gameplay and then change the Mystic code there. So I don't think they give you a team screen for a lot of these stages. They might for a few of them, but I know we didn't earlier with that one match stage. But I'll, in defense though of some of these companies, what can happen is the higher ups, right, your publisher or your executives, you know, whoever you're answering to, they don't understand anything like that I just said. And if they see, you know, like one earnings report that's bad, they might fire who's in charge and then hire someone else. And the new person that gets hired benefits from that biting the bullet earlier for like the long-term, you know, good infrastructure, right? And so then they look better, right? So that's a whole thing in like the business world that's like a problem. And I definitely think that affects video games pretty negatively. I could just let Mash die. I don't really need her, but maybe she'll NP again. Kind of a shame that we almost killed those two ads, but didn't. I'm pretty sure you fight Anastasia again by yourself at some point. Yeah, her animations weren't like totally ready at this point, or they were trying to hide them one way or the other. She wasn't added until later. I don't remember how long it was between the prologue and Lost Belt 1, but I want to say it was a decent amount of time. Oh, there's the 1 HP. Oh, one stage is over. Could have NP'd again. Her extra attack, though, is kind of unique because, one, it still does massive damage, but it has those, it has, like, the HP drain on it and stuff. So it's more than just an extra attack, which is kind of interesting. I do hope we get an anime for the prologue and Lost Belt 1. Because I really hope Lost Belt 1 gets animated, and my hope for it getting animated is because it is so tied to the prologue, and it'd be really, really weird making the Lost Belt anime without the prologue, because it's pretty fundamental. But they could skim over it pretty quick, and then like kind of show what happened in Lost Belt 1 in like a, you know, really quick recap. Like they did that for the other singularities that they skipped in 1.0. You know, basically all of them. But I really want Lost Belt 1 to get an anime because it's really good. It doesn't have like the best gameplay or anything, but oh god! DMCA, no! It sucks that not only do you get blasted for the audio, but you get blasted for the visual too. They have a visual copyright on this, which is so insane, right? It's like, and you can't skip it, right? Like you literally can't skip it. So it's like it's fucking 2021, Like, yeah, nobody plays video games on stream or on YouTube. It's not like it's free marketing or anything. And it's like they're not even really against people streaming it. They just don't even think about these kinds of things. Yeah, I know you can reset the app. I've done that before. But I'm not gonna bother. Kind of a shame though, because you can show off all the masters and so it's kind of fun seeing the original Lost Belt opening now that like it's so much farther in and all these crazy things have happened. Oh, the music is looping. And yeah, this is like the flower boss theme from Ark Knights. Big flower baddie. Oh, okay, it's pretty much over now, I think. Okay, you can end now. Also, hi, Goetia. Any day now, game. I like how we never did Epic of Remnant, so it's kind of messed up the way they do the loading screen. Still not to normal gameplay yet, because now we have even more 0 AP stages. How many loading screens have we gone through during this period? Wonder how Ivan is gonna go. I wish we had Stheno's third passive. It'd be really fun to see the kind of normal card damage she could do. Maybe we'll get spooked by Stheno when we roll for Asclepius. Gotta get those coins somehow. It's either that or we get her to like bond like 13 or something. I don't know what that loading screen was, but that took a while. How many years has it been since Lost Belt 1? Oh, jeez. Like 4? Or something? I can't believe how long we've been in the Lost Belts, dude. Their pacing has been dog shit. Like, it's not, it really is not fun. You really lose interest in a lot of, like, the mysteries and stuff when they, like, pose questions and then don't answer them for, like, 3 years. It's like, it doesn't really stick. And they just did so much filler. Like, they did so much filler. Like, 5.5, although it had some fun gameplay, did not need to exist story-wise in the slightest. Like, that was just silly, and they do a lot of stuff like that. And, like, Lost Belt 5.1, I really like the characters and everything, but it also didn't need to exist. It just didn't, right? Like, you could have those characters, and you could have a lot of those interactions, and had it happen on Olympus, right? Like all that like pre-stuff with getting through the shield is just arbitrary to make the story longer, right? You could have done all the character development you did with the twins and Wadim and Zeus and all that stuff alongside the main story beats that they did with the characters in Lost Belt 5.1, right? Like 5.1 and 5.2 could have just been the same story. There is no reason they needed to be separate. And the only reason that they are is because they're just trying to elongate it, right? And I'm not between that and then, you know, lost the 5.5 and now 6.5, right? It's just, you know, it's like years of wasted time because it generally takes them like 6 months these days between main stories. The 5.1 is enjoyable because of the characters. I don't know if like, I don't know if I'd call the story good. It's kind of like I say, it's really arbitrary, and it's kind of obvious it's a really self-contained story, that everything happens in it doesn't matter, really, beyond itself, right? And it's kind of just an excuse for you not to be able to get to Olympus. But those characters are, you know, good, and there's cool moments, and, you know, like, just stuff, right? But like the premise and all that, I don't think is anything that great. Yeah, I mean, in the early days of FGO, or even the mid days of FGO, they were kind of all over the place when they did main story. Because here's the thing, if they want to, they could release main story a lot quicker than they do. The reason they do it this way is because they don't want to. Because now you can't just pop out main story like it's nothing. You know, of course not. But most of the main stories have different writers, and they can be actually working simultaneously. And a lot of the outline stuff Anasu did years ago and is already done. So the only like work that needs to be done is like making the new mobs, designing the boss fights, you know, implementing the text and that kind of stuff, and that doesn't take 6 months. It may some rare exceptions when they add more than normal, but generally that does not take that much time. But I don't think, the thing is, they don't even start working on a lot of this stuff until later because they don't want to release the main story like every 3 months. They don't anymore. They clearly don't want to do that anymore. I don't know if they think it's just better business or I don't know what the reason is. But they used to be able to release, you know, major story chapters, even, you know, chunky ones, you know, closer together than what we see now. But I think now they're pretty obsessed with releasing them at very specific times in the year, not so much how long it is relative to each other. Like they always want one at the end of the year, stuff like that. Like there's some patterns that they've done for like 5 years straight now that it's obvious, right? They always put out a main story chapter like at the end of the year, like in December. And stuff like that. They always do that. And if that means, and you can tell they like look ahead. So the story that comes before that one in December, they'll release it in a place where it puts it like 6 months before December, right? Roughly. They like always do that now. And so like it makes a lot of like wonky shit. 1 AP for the stage. How about that? All right, what does this count have for her? I guess that's good enough. This is a pretty easy stage, I think. I really wish they would use their main interlude system more. That's a really good way to not have dead weeks and also not have to do a lot of work, right? They do have to do almost no work on their end, and it gives players something to do, and it also gives new players ways to catch up on things they missed in the past. I think main interludes are one of the better investments that they could do. They just don't, because I honestly don't know. I have no idea why they're so against main interludes. And like no other game is like that. Like Arknights has really embraced that kind of stuff, and they add them very rapidly. I mean, literally, like Arknights just did a big event, right? And I think in like a week, that event was added to their main interlude system. And meanwhile, FGO hasn't added anything to their main interlude system in years. Because yeah, that makes sense. Lizards, though. It was instantly added? I thought you had to wait a little bit, but I guess not. I like how they said in an interview that main interludes take a lot of effort. DW actually said that, and that is just horse shit. Like, that's just lying. And dude, video games in general are bad about this, but I've noticed Japan is unbelievably bad about this. Like, it's really common, like PR for game companies, they just cannot speak the truth if the truth makes them look bad. Like, this is so common. You see this with EA, Activision. If the truth, you know, exposes something that they think that players will take in a negative way, they'll come up with some bullshit excuse or reason that they think people will be understanding of. That is just so common, and like even in North America and Europe and everything, that's so common for video games. And it's even more common with Japanese game developers. They will basically never just say, oh yeah, you know, we made a mistake here, or you know, a bunch of people quit, or you know, that we wouldn't make enough money if we did it that way. You know, they always got to say some stupid shit. And like that, they had a thing where they were talking about main interludes, and they were like, "Oh, it takes so much. It's like it's too like time consuming and stuff for us to do main interludes because a lot of adjustments need to be done to the events to make them work as a main interlude." It's like, no, there isn't. Like that's bullshit. Like I understand game development well enough that that is absolute horseshit. And you look at all these other mobile games doing things like main interlude, more detailed and more effort put into it than FGO, and they do it like super quick. Like there's there is so little effort put into like the CCC main interlude, right? You just cut out all of the farming stages, and then you just put in the key items in the shop, and you give them all the currency to buy it in the shop immediately. That's what they did. That's it. That's all they did. That's not a lot of work, right? That's nothing like making a new event where you have to implement all the text from the story and everything. You might have to make new sprites for new characters. You know, it's all old stuff. It's all existing assets and UI things that are already in the game, right? That's very minimal work. And they literally said in an interview that it was like, oh, it's just so hard to do that, you know, it takes so much time for them to do main interludes. It would slow down their ability to do regular events. Like, that's just total dog shit. I think for some, the thing is, and it's like a bad feedback loop with social media. When it comes to the actual practical effect on reality, I think when companies just spew PR bullshit, I think it hurts them, right? I think enough people out there know it's dog shit. Because I mean, you've seen it. It's not just game development. You know, it's restaurants and like you know, big stores and stuff, right? They'll get in scandals or whatever, and they'll just spew PR nonsense. I mean, you see this all over the place. And I think for like the average person, they know it's PR bullshit, and I think it hurts the company more than it helps them. But I think it helps them on like social media, because like DW has an army of white knights that will defend them, and if you put out some ridiculous excuse that sounds good on the surface, those white knights aren't going to dig deeper and think about it and be like, wait, does that actually make sense? They're just going to accept it and then, you know, cite that excuse anytime anyone, you know, crucifies them on social media or whatever. And so it's like a feedback loop thing where it looks, the optics look better to the company when it's PR nonsense. Also, Japan's culture just kind of, you know, they don't throw people under the bus, you know, in companies, right, a lot, and like they don't talk about internal stuff a lot. You know, they don't, fucking fighting games in Japan don't even talk about frame data. They try to hide that stuff. Yeah, that's just the culture over there. And so between that and then also the social media stuff, I think they're really incentivized to not be honest. Because the thing is, you will get crucified on social media. If you come out and say, you know, oh yeah, we're just being greedy, or oh yeah, that person got, you know, quit and it's, you know, making workflow problems or whatever, you will get crucified on social media, right? Like, some of it will be reasonable and some of it won't, right? You'll get a lot of unreasonable criticism on social media and people throwing you under the bus that don't understand the industry or whatever. That will happen, right? But you just gotta kind of ignore it. Also, VC Braun is the best, by the way. I really will give Lost Belt 1 this. Lost Belt 1 does a better job of characterizing a VC Braun than the APOC anime does. I don't think it does better than like the book, but it does. The anime did such a bad job of characterizing a VC Braun when it was trying to adapt APOC, the story he's from. But then Lost Belt 1 did a better job. It's crazy. It's like obvious to me that like they were just skimming over a VC Braun, you know, so much in the anime, where in Lost Belt 1, it's really obvious that the writer actually read APOC the book, right? They didn't just watch the anime, they read APOC the book, and they really understood his character and stuff. Because like the anime never mentions any of the stuff about like a VC Braun, you know, regretting killing his master and stuff like that. That's only in the book. It's not in the anime. And they actually expanded on that, right? And they kind of logically, you know, kept... They basically looked where a VC Braun stopped in the APOC book and like, okay, what's next, right? What's the logical, you know, next thing to do here? And it's nice because like a VC Braun didn't really have a lot of like closure or like a finished character arc in the APOC books, really. Yeah, a VC Braun is barely even in the anime, honestly, and like the few times he's not even in the books that much. I mean, he's in it more, definitely. But the thing is, when he's in the books, it's a lot more meaningful. And in the anime, they just kind of skim over the stuff. I don't know why I didn't do that last turn. I like a lot of characters in Lost Belt 1. I think they did a really good job of like giving them, you know, character moments where they're just talking to each other and then using their abilities logically. It's crazy. So many of the FGO stories don't actually respect what the character's abilities are, like in like, you know, lore or whatever, right? They kind of just have them do whatever services the plot, or they don't even use their abilities and there's bright shakes on the screen and that's it. But Lost Belt 1, for the most part, actually represented what their abilities are pretty well, which was really nice. Because so many of the other stories don't do that. I've seen some people say they don't like how Beowulf was used in Lost Boat 1. I think it was fine, really. And like, yeah, it would have been nice if we gotten a bit more screen time and could have like talked more. But I think the role he played was pretty reasonable and it fit his character well, and it was pretty cool with him at the end and everything. So I don't really mind how, like, he's not the star. Like, obviously Beowulf is not the star of Lost Boat 1, but not everyone can be the star, right? They were kind of focusing more on, you know, Atalante, VC Braun, Billy, really. Those are, I'd say, the three that, for the good guys anyway, that probably got the most focus. Because some people say Masashi, but honestly Masashi didn't get that much focus. She was more of a side thing. Yeah, I like, yeah, when Cadoc's trying to use like his special alien god command spell. And I remember when I was reading that, this made me so happy. When I was reading that the first time, I remember thinking, oh, that's stupid. Billy, it would be able to stop that so easily. Because, you know, Billy's whole thing is he is unbelievably fast and unbelievably accurate. I'm like, there's no way Cadoc would be able to use that without Billy just stopping him. And he's just a human. It's not like he's got like some super, you know, crazy strong shield or anything. And then I was like, Billy's probably not going to stop it because, you know, my story. And then, you know, just as you read through the text, oh, Billy does stop. And I'm like, okay. Like, that's nice. Because that happens all the time where I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And the thing that would make sense doesn't happen. But in Lost Boat 1, a lot of times what makes sense actually happens. And it's like, oh, that's nice to see. Okay, I can summon whatever I want now. We don't have to, no, we don't have to babysit anymore. We can, kid gloves are off. That's the better way of putting it. Let's see. What do we want to use? Now, we use Babbage like all of the damn time, so we don't have to do that. Let's see. Story. I don't know if I'm just jumping right into that, but, okay, I was going to use a caster, but I got a better idea. Hopefully I can make... I probably can't make this work in any kind of way that's cool, because this account is so incapable of supporting anything, because this account is so weak. Because I don't even have star... You know, you want like Star Bomb and, you know, that kind of stuff here, but we'll do it anyway. Yeah, I don't even have Mozart, for crying out loud. I don't think I have 2030 either, and I know I don't have a single Star Bomb CE. Yeah, and I don't have Anniversary Blonde. I am so incapable of supporting servants like Mori and Caligula here. I just, this account is missing every checkbox. It's all X's. And Hans's third skill's not leveled either. Yeah, wow, I don't have a damn thing to get crits here. Send help. This is so not gonna work. Yeah, 2030 and Hans's third skill will at least be kinda something, but I mean, not really, because we don't have Star Absorb. I was gonna say, what's my caster DPS? And the answer to that is you don't have one. Very strong account. Get that super art card on Stheno. Get that mega NP gain. I could support Lu Bu better than Caligula. Lu Bu's pretty basic. All you really need is like Qinggong. You're good to go. It sucks because Caligula and Mori and stuff can be really good, but yeah, this account's not ready for it. I am so hungry right now. I'll have to take a break in a minute to fix that. I don't know why though. I ate 2 egg rolls right before streaming. I was like, this will hold me over, but it's a lie. Egg rolls are good, by the way. Not much in the way of Caligula cards here. Jesus, that yell though. Brave Chain can NP. I really should just NP on a Rosh, but we'll save it. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of just want to see Caligula's animations. They have better animations than a lot of day one characters. Like, that's absolutely smoother than a lot of day one, like, archers and gun users and stuff. It's got like the smoke comes off the gun and stuff. A lot of the day one gun users, or early days gun users, don't have that. Do y'all think we're going to get the Lost Belt 1 anime? I think it's possible, because it is pretty fundamental to the story. But I could see them skimming over it, like I said, and like doing like a quick flash through it. But I really hope it gets one, because... And then it has to not suck, though. That's the other thing. It has to actually be a good adaptation, but... I actually really like Lost Belt 1, so if it got an anime, I'd be super happy with that. I think it's one of the better ones you could do for FGO. Like, a lot of the FGO stories I don't think make good standalone stories. I don't. I think a lot of them are, you know, really reliant on having, like, played the game or seen the other stories and whatnot. Like, I don't think Babylonia was really that good of an anime. I really don't. Like, I don't think it was terrible, but I don't think it was nearly as good as, like, you know, even Unlimited Blade Works or Fate Zero or something like that. Like, I don't think it was even, like, close. But I think Lost Belt 1 is a lot better when it comes to that kind of stuff. I can probably kill them both here. Yeah, I do think they're gonna skip, like, 1 might get skipped. I could see them going straight to, like, 5. I could see that. I could see them doing, like, you know, a little mini thing to do, like, the prologue, and then kind of skipping over what happened between, you know, Lost Belt 1 and 5, and then the actual story is 5. I could totally see that, where the first major anime is Lost Belt 5. Which would suck, and I love Lost Belt 5, but I would hate that. I would much prefer they at least do Lost Belt 1, then go to 5. Because, like, Lost Belt 1... You know, like I said, it ties into the prologue a lot, and it's kind of how you resolve what happened in the prologue, and the prologue sets up the story of the Lost Belt, so I feel like skipping 1 is just a terrible idea. And 1 is just good. It's just, you know, it's a good story, and I think it, like, I think you could do, like, Lost Belt 1, then go to 5. Like, I think doing, like, 1, 5, 6, 7, you know, would work pretty well, but they might even skip, I don't think, no, they're not gonna skip 6. 6 is way too popular. And I wouldn't think they would skip 5 because it's too important to, like, the first half of the story, but they might just skip over the first half of the story then, and basically start with Lost Belt 6. Oh god, can you imagine if they skipped everything and they just started an anime in Lost Belt 6? Like, that would make any sense? Like, because all that, dude, that would be so bad! Because, like, not only do you miss out on, like, the fundamental information and stuff, you don't get all this stuff with, like, Beryl killing, Wadim and stuff, and then so then the stuff with Pepe is not half as good, right? Like, that would be so bad. Like, Lost Belt 6, I wouldn't shock me, though, because Japan really liked Lost Belt 6, so I could see them doing that. I don't know, we'll see. So really, I should just NP with Qingong. But, let's see here. I just wish there was any way for Caligula to crit, but there's not. I probably could have waited to cast that skill because Caligula only has 1 card. I don't remember what JP's reaction to Lost Vault 1 was. That was so long ago. I don't think it was negative though, because everyone was pretty hyped for the 2.0, and you know, that was the first one in 2.0. And I remember pretty much everyone has kind of always been, oh yeah, the Lost Vault's really stepped up the writing and like the storytelling and stuff. So yeah, I don't think there was any like issue with Lost Vault 1. I don't think it's like their favorite or anything in hindsight, but well, time to see what he can do with a Buster card that can't crit. It's okay. Oh yeah, I hate to say this, but you could cut 4 really easily. But I'm not sure they will, just because it was pretty popular. It's true. I would be happy if Lost Vault 4 got an anime. I like 4 just fine. Really, the ones that I want to see skipped are like 2 and 3. I don't like 2 or 3 very much. I mean, I don't hate them, especially 2. 3 kind of sucks, but that would be such a waste of time, in my opinion. I know some people are gonna hate that, but they're just not that good at stories, and they're not important. They're not important to the overall story either, right? They're really side gigs. You know, you don't need them to understand the fundamental plot, and they don't have like character development for like the key players that are in multiple stories, right? They're just self-contained little things. Like, there's cool things within Lost Vault 2 and 3, absolutely. But overall, I don't think they're worth getting a full-on adaptation. And I don't think they would. I think they'll probably get skipped over. Because they're not the most popular, they're not very fundamental, right? They are kind of fillery. You know, they're kind of the Oceanus of the Lost Vaults, you know, and Septum and all that. What do I want to use? I got it. This makes very little sense in terms of like counterclassing and whatnot, but be cool. Shame I don't have Mozart. Oh, I need to bring George for Bond. Almost Bond 8. Septum is getting a manga? Oh boy. They're probably gonna change it a lot though, to be honest. I imagine they'll try to flesh it out because it's so bad. Like it's unbelievably basic, and like, you know, all these factions, but they don't do anything. You just fight them all ABC like. They'll probably change it a good bit. Do I just NP? No, we'll wait a second. Maybe NP the second wave. I'm gonna go ahead and cast this stuff. I'm greedy. I want the goods. Arash took 1 star, how could he? We only crit 1 time? Oh yeah, I forgot my Lancelot's in stage 1 because I think people wanted to see that or something. I gotta fix that. I don't mind in stage 1, but it doesn't even match the art stuff that I've selected. I cannot find my Lancelot for some reason. Now he's Grailed, so he's with the 90s. What the hell? There he is. I don't know what that was. Okay, back to stage 2. I could just NP this guy, but he died and I couldn't do my art crit, so... Yeah, like I said, I don't mind in stage 1 at all, but I've got his art and his cards and stuff set to stage 2, so it looks kind of whack. And I just like his stage 2 more. It fits the Saber version more. But there's nothing wrong with the stage 1. And if the stage 1 had the helmet, I would probably use it. But we cannot have nice things. I should have cast that last turn, or the turn before even. I wish I brought Atlas. I don't really want a Stella here, because then my buffs would go to waste. If I did Atlas, I could just keep the buffs going. I've seen people that think London is worse than Septum, and I do get where they're coming from. There is some really stupid stuff in London and just wasted potential everywhere. But I definitely think Septum is worse because it's so much more basic and like so bad video gamey, if that makes any sense. Didn't really get Lancelot's kit working smoothly here. The screen switch happened at a really bad time. Also, this Mystic Code is terrible. Not just for this stage. I've messed around with this Mystic Code, and it's just not good. It's like, it's almost good. It's like almost like really solid, but in actuality, like its practical use is ultimately really shitty. I should bring more competent teams though. These stages are not interesting enough to warrant this. Yeah, Lancer Artoria Alter has never gotten any love whatsoever from this game. Lancelot has no way of getting NP this turn. Alright boys, it's time for Han's NP gain. Or Stargen, excuse me. Why do I have this song in my playlist? This is the music from Dark Souls 2 when you meet, what's her name? Nashandra, whatever the fuck. It's a perfectly good atmospheric music, but it is so bad for like, you know, doing something, right? It's not like Jesus Christ, this is boring. Like totally good for what the song is designed for, but there we go. And thank you for the 5-month sub, HPaz1. I don't know if I got that even remotely right, but thank you for the 5 months, dude. Almost half a year. Okay, now we got some Lancelot stuff. Okay, here we go. Maybe they'll use Lancer Alter in, you know, whatever they're doing with Fuyuki. I doubt it, but we'll see. I feel like the Fuyuki thing is going to be a lot less interesting than we want it to be. Game. Why? Literally, why? There's no reason you can't handle 2 health bars here. Why do they do this? And I keep seeing people say, oh, it's because of story, because you're not killing her there. That's stupid, because you have all kinds of bosses where you do go through their health bars and you still don't kill them. They just retreat instead of fading away at the end. They do that all the time, right? So there's no reason in doing a 2 health bar boss that you only have to break 1 health bar. Just give it 1 health bar then. Right? Like, just give it 1 health bar. Like, it's dumb. And also, it would not be unreasonable to fight a boss with 2 health bars at that point in the story, right? Like, that would still be very casual and easy. But then you can kind of, you know, we just showed off, you know, big NP damage, then we get the big crits and we're about to NP again, and We could crit that turn, right? And it would matter, you know, if the boss had more health, but it doesn't. I would use Sitting Master in contrast if we had a good one, but that was not a good one. I wish he had command codes, but we'll make do. I need to get Anniversary Blonde. I'm not gonna. This is the slowest it's ever been for me getting Anniversary Blonde, and it's because I don't want to roll until I beat Lost Vault 4. That's the whole problem. I would do that so fast, Gambler, if I could trade. Well, I don't need my Charlotte coins, right? I'm not trying to 120 Charlotte or anything. I'd be so happy to trade Coup coins and Charlotte coins like that. All right, I'm gonna be right back. I gotta eat something real quick. I gotta grab something, or I'm gonna like faint. My stomach be growling. Okay, so pretty much all the food that I have available to me takes like 20 to 30 minutes minimum to fix. So I'm eating a banana. That's about the only option I had, so that'll hopefully hold me over. Hey, Arjuna. Rama would be proud. Alright, what am I looking at here? You know what? Let's go Star Bomb. I probably didn't need to do that, Buster Up. Like, yeah, it lasts 3 turns, but that was so much overkill damage. Completely wasted. Like, I should have cast it now, like right here. Why is this so loud? Jeez, okay. Are these dragons, guys? Crabs are totally dragons, right? Real shame that my Siegfried is in P1. They're demonic. Actually, I think you're right about that. I think they are. If you have, because there's no account system in FGO, if you've got it on BlueStacks and your phone, you'd have to switch back and forth every time, which is really easy to fuck up. So, yeah, it's not ideal. And if you're like, that's dumb, you're correct, it is. And it's like the only fucking mobile game like that. I think the Blaze Blue one is like that too, because they copied Day 1 FGO for some insane reason. It's because that Blaze Blue game, it was in development for a really, really long time. I went to like development hell. And when they started development on it, that was like, there was so way less mobile games back then. And FGO was all the rage. So the foundation, when they started working on that game, you know, years and years and years ago, they were just copying FGO completely. And then when it came out, it was like FGO 5 years ago or whatever, right? It's terrible. Don't know what they were thinking that. I don't know why I cast my third skill, but I did. Yeah, that game was in development for crazy long. It clearly had problems behind closed doors. Because like they announced it, made like a really basic trailer for it that showed no gameplay or anything like that, and then it went radio silent for years, and people thought it was canceled. I mean, it was, and then they brought it up again, and then like no word for like another year or so, and then it just kind of came out. I don't think that game has done very well. I don't think it cost them really any money to maintain it though, but I think it actually hurt the Blaze Blue IP way more than it helped it. It's kind of between that and Cross Tag, I think they've kind of tarnished their IP a good bit there. Not good management. Guilty Gear's, it's funny, Blaze Blue used to be way more popular than Guilty Gear. But then, you know, they kind of started working on Guilty Gear again and stopped working on Blaze Blue, and then that went well for them. Because they just started getting more and more known as a company and whatnot. And they just have only done stupid things with Blaze Blue since then. Which is rather unfortunate. A lot of scuffed servants there. Why not? We don't use them very often. Crazy though how many fighting games Arc System works on these days. Like they got like that Dungeon Fighter one that they're working on, but they just put out Guilty Gear. It's like, damn. Do I just NP right now? I guess so. I wish they had enough health that I could do his other attacks after it, but... Is it healthy to have nails like that, by the way? I feel like that might be a symptom of a problem. Probably not, yeah. What a guy. What, that's a reasonable battery right there. If I had the other Mystic Code, he could NP again right now. Damn. That could have been better. What? But you had crit up, double crit up, and 80% crit chance, and anti-beast damage. He would either have killed it or gotten really close. Damn it, Protoku. My buffs, though. You got 70% on this one. That's so frustrating, right? Like you hear that like the little wet noodle sound, right? Instead of the crit sound, you do just very little damage. Could have killed it. That would have been better if I just impeded, I think. Then I could do the anti-beast right here. Yeah, that would have been better. But I thought it would have been smoother than that. And now Protoku won't have his anti-beast damage for this big boy. Okay, I got the attack buff. Good. If only we could have done that more when we used Hans earlier. You know, 70k is pretty respectable considering he's got a CE that doesn't give him any kind of damage bonus. 244! And that's without his anti-beast. Alright. Actually would have liked to have seen that with our anti-beast damage. I can't remember what it was, but recently I heard a voice that was very different from Doorman, but one of the lines that they did, I'm like, wait, that might be Doorman's voice actor, and I looked it up and it was, but it was just so different. It was pretty wild. A little bit of snow there. I don't remember when you fight Antonio or Mozart Alter, if you will. I think it's earlier in the story, but it's not like that soon. Okay. Who do you? Okay, it's Percival time. Someone called that earlier. I'm never. Well, we could do Romulus, because I feel like we do use Percival a lot since he got added. For good reason, he's pretty cool, but yeah, we'll do some Roman hype. I'd use Boudica if I had her. I literally just changed the CE, but it didn't update. This music is so freaking quiet. Pretty atmospheric at the start. I just turned it up by like 300%. Hans's third skill not being at 10 is pretty painful. I wish they would throw actual boss fights at you more. Like, you know, I can summon or use whatever, and it's obviously gonna work because the non-boss stages are just so easy. That's why I like Lost Belt 5.2 specifically, because they don't have a single filler stage. Every single stage is interesting gameplay. They don't have a single throwaway stage. I wish 5.1 was like that, but it is not. 5.1 is actually pretty typical with its like setup in that department. Proto-Coup looks bad next to just about everything. Day 1 sprite. Imagine like being a huge Proto-Coup fan, right? Since the beginning. So it comes out and Proto-Coup and Coup, neither of them have any buffs. You know, they're sharing the same sprite, you know, just like a reskin. And then as time goes on, they just keep buffing Coup. They give him an animation update. Not a great one, but gets an animation update. Gets buffed a million times. And then Proto-Coup, here he is 6 years later with this sprite still. Like, That being said, though, regular Coup really could use a animation update again, because his first one really was not spectacular. Yeah, Shakespeare's got one of the worst sprites in the game now, I would say. I think the worst sprite in the game used to be Ushi, but she got an animation update. So I think the reason that Proto-Coup's design was changed from what it is, as we see, to what, you know, Fate Stay Night, is just because the vibe of Fate Stay Night's a bit different than Prototype. Like, if you look at, like, just the overall aesthetic of a lot of the characters and all that, it's different, right? And I think when they kind of revisited the story and changed stuff, like changing Arthur to Artoria and was it Ayaka or whatever to Shiro, you know, that came with some fundamental changes with kind of what this, like, the story was about and stuff, and you know, it kind of changed I think the vibe that they wanted. Now that being said, I think Proto-Coup could have still worked just fine in Fate Stay Night, but they definitely wanted the servants to have a more modern look for the most part in Fate Stay Night, where that wasn't really the case in Prototype. Like, Prototype, they're more, I don't know, like what you would expect if you made an anime about, like, Coup, right? And it wasn't, you know, it was set in his time period and everything, right? But it's still anime, right? And it's still, you know, it's not trying to be historically accurate. You could see them, you know, his design being something like Proto-Coup, right? That would make sense. Where Cou's design in Fate Stay Night definitely has, like, I don't know if a modern twist is the right way to put it, but, you know, it feels more out of place if it was actually there in, like, the actual time, even if it was like an anime. And it's like, it's kind of similar, same kind of vibe with, you know, Emiya and all that. And even Medusa's works better, but even Medusa's a bit more modern. The only one that's kind of typical is Medea. Like, Medea is like the only one, and from what I understand, Medea's design in Fate Stay Night is her design from Prototype. They just copy-pasted it over. And that might have been because of time or whatever. Now, I suspect if they ever do Prototype Medea, they're going to change it now. Just like I don't think Prototype Merlin was originally female. I think they just did that after the fact because they'd already done regular Merlin, and it was like a good excuse for my waifu. But so I think Medea, if she got a Prototype version, would be changed. Or she won't even be in it, and they'll make it a different caster entirely. Herc was changed. He's very similar, but Herc's design was changed. I think they wanted Kojiro to look really traditional, though, due to how he was summoned and all that. I think that's why they did that. Also, it's Golem time. Like, they obviously approach different servants in their own unique way. They don't have, like, a broad stroke way of designing the servants, clearly. But there, I don't think you don't have to read between the lines much, where you can see a very different tone shift between Prototype and Fate's Day Night. And I don't think that's like an accident. I think it's very intentional. Okay, we'll go with the VC Braun. Gotta actually slot him though. Oh, he is slotted, excuse me. He's in my all slot. Doesn't really need to have Black Grail, but it's kinda cool. Could give him K-Scope and have him double NP. And we'll give him Black Grail just cause. Oh yeah, Calamity Jane. That's a character of mine that I haven't used in quite some time. Gong doesn't really need to be on the team. Oh yeah, I like most of the Prototype designs more than the Face the Night counterparts in terms of just aesthetic. I like both guilds though, I will say. I think both guilds work pretty well. Although Arthur's design used to be different though. It's they updated it when they actually added him for like the OVA. They changed it. The original, I don't mind it, but it's like, if you look at like there's an aesthetic that they used for like the flashbacks in Fate's Day Night, like the visual novel, that aesthetic doesn't really exist in Fate anymore. They don't like ever use it anymore. But like the kind of armor that you saw the other Knights of the Round wearing and the lighting and everything, that's very much what how Arthur was in the original Prototype. It was like very much how like Bedivere and Lancelot and all them looked in like the flashbacks. But they've just abandoned that like version of Camelot entirely. They don't ever use like those designs anymore for like Lancelot and Bedivere and all that. And when Arthur, got actually made officially, they changed it as well. So, but yeah, Arthur actually had a different design for the original Prototype. Not a lot of reason to have a VC Braun NP right now, but I'm doing it anyway. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna hope that a VC Braun does not do 29k. This is such a risk, because I could just do her art card and her quick card first, and then that's the NP and gain, and that's that. Where right now I'm trying to be greedy. I'm trying to get the NP gain buff from a VC Braun, and then have her finish off the Saber. Oh crap! Oh crap! He did way more damage than I was thinking. Crap! My NP gain though, and I used my evade. Shit. Well, that sucked. I should have just done the art quick first. Would have been way better. I should probably have her NP on this turn. Like after this art card, she'd probably have it. Or now she'll be kind of close, but she'll still need a chunk. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Hans. Okay, so she got it, but she only got it because she crit, where the other way she would have gotten it even if she didn't crit, I think. We also would have had more stars. Yeah, Black Grail's pretty strong. Not only is it limit broken, but it is level 100. And it's got that extra 400 attack stat. Black Grail can be worth leveling even if you don't have an MLB. Like if you have it where its level cap is 60, it's not bad to take it to 60 just because it does have such a high attack stat. You'll still get a hell of a lot out of it. I always dislike using unlimited broken black grail though, because the deterrent is the same, but the benefit is smaller, so it just feels bad. But practicality wise, 60% damage is oftentimes enough, so it doesn't really matter. Keep getting K-Scope instead of Black Grail. Well, at least K-Scope's useful too. It's actually more useful more often, easily. It's just when Black Grail is good, it's really good. Like, because some bosses just have high hit counts, or the fights go on so long, you know, starting NP doesn't matter, or they drain your starting NP, like that Goetia fight we just saw. Limbo is like that in Lost Boat 4. There's been several bosses like that. And it's just fun, you know, it's fun. Yeah, but not 8, yeah, 8K scope's pretty extreme. Well, you can work on a second super scope. I don't know why 500 year obsession has a higher attack stat either. I don't think they really knew what they were doing back then. If they released it today, I don't think it would have the higher attack stat. What really doesn't make sense is why Battle of Kimlan gives you health. It's actually kind of annoying. Occasionally it's good, but normally the Da Vinci event equivalent one is better. I'm actually sad that I don't have 2 super scopes, because I've been playing for so long. It actually would not be strange if I had a second one. But the problem is I have to wait until I get another one, because I can't just have 2 super scopes. Now, if I wasn't a streamer or YouTube stuff, you could, then it's fine. Like when you get your first super scope, sometimes you wait for one more copy, because it's not always good to do that. But you don't do that for the second super scope, because you now have 2 super scopes. Why would you even need a regular K-scope anymore, right? But because I don't like using super scope for my videos, I have to at least have 1 regular K-scope just sitting around. So it sucks though, because 2 super scopes is so awesome for farming. You can make such, like, you just so easily can you set up almost any kind of team to clear a stage quickly, and you can just worry about whatever classes, you know, line up, and you don't have to worry about like bringing much battery stuff. All right, this will take a second, but let's give Calamity Jane actual command codes, and we'll try to find a stage to use her on. And before this stage, it's just like the worst stage ever for her, but we'll find out. It could be Ziggurat, actually. I feel like wait, no, that's Lost Belt 2, what am I saying? This is Lost Belt 1. It's the snowman, it mixes memories. Yeah, I have no idea what the stage is. Okay, where is Calamity Jane? A clothing store, I would hope, but sadly, I don't think that's the case. Can she get a costume like Izo? Right, Izo's always getting costumes. Can she just get one so she looks more fucking normal? Like, god damn it. I know I bitch about it every time, but it really is annoying because her gameplay is fine. And she's not my favorite character or anything, but I don't mind her character. But then like, why? And why, like, all 3 of her stages are just so over the top, like, space cheerleader. Like, did we really need that? Like, is that necessary? Yeah, I don't think she's ever getting a costume, to be honest. I mean, sometimes they give costumes to kind of random things. But yeah, she's not popular, so very unlikely. Where Izo is, though I gotta say, I'm shocked Izo has gotten so many costumes. Because although he is popular, he's not that popular. Like, you know, Ricky Boy is more popular, and Ricky doesn't, well no, I guess Ricky did get a costume. Yeah, that's right, he got his summer costume really damn quick. Because all the other 3 stars are like, but I've been in the game longer. Fucking Ku not having a costume though, dude. And they've said twice now that Ku is one of the most requested things to get a costume. And he still doesn't have one. And I'm convinced it's because they've predetermined a time that they're giving Ku a costume. Like how Ushi's animation update was like predetermined to be coming with Little Big Tengu. I think it's just the same thing for coup. They're like, okay, this is the time, and it's not happening before that, so. And it could, maybe it's gonna be like a, this is copium, but a Fate Hollow collab. They're gonna add Bizet as a welfare. They're gonna give Ku his Hawaiian shirt from Fate Hollow. They're gonna add an alternate class to somebody from Fate Hollow, right? Or maybe even, this is hopium, but maybe they add the Hassan from Fate Hollow. That's a character that has never been expanded on very much, but they detailed their Noble Phantasm, right? And it's awesome. So that'd be really cool. I don't think anyone would see that coming if they added that Hassan from Fate Hollow. And hell, they could add the twin sabers that we never saw, right? There's all kinds of things they could do there. But yeah, it should happen, right? It'd be great because it's way better than the stupid fucking FGO x FGO collab that we got last time. When is that? We get like what, three or 4 months? I think probably like 4 months before the collab. All right, because I don't know what I'm dealing with. Star Bomb, which is kind of good for her. I doubt it's anything Rider related though. Double Archer's kind of bad if it's not an Archer. Berserker would be good. You know, just in case this is Antonio, I should probably, because then wasn't there like 6 ghosts before you fought him? I need a DPS caster. I think a Tsukihime collab could be any time now, right? Because the visual novel's out. So it could be the next collab, could be the one after. So the big ones on the table, I would say, is Tsukihime and Hollow Prototype. And then Face Range Fake, not quite, because I don't think they've done enough books yet. But, yeah, I know, the game doesn't really do collabs. It's just, you know, self... It's like... It's really like self-indulgent them even calling them collabs, to be honest. I'm overthinking this, I think. My AoE options, though, they are not great. Gotta get Spartacus up. Spartacus and Martha, next 2 level ups for sure. That'll help this account quite a bit. Still don't... There's quite a few CEs that are good on Stheno, and I don't have any of them. Nasu unironically has said that he wants to collab with FromSoft, but he also said, like, you know, they're kind of on the fence about doing collabs with... I know what this stage is. Oh god, alright, I know everyone's gonna want to see the Hydra one, especially on this shitty account. Does anyone remember which one's the Hydra? Because that's the harder one. Well, if anyone remembers which option it is, we'll go with that one. I can look it up if we need to. No, but the other one's really easy and doesn't matter. God damn it. And it, Proto-coup, second one, okay, a Proto-coup would have been the way to go. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, like, Nasu's saying, you know, kind of iffy about doing collabs that aren't, you know, Type Moon. I always say it's like, as long as they keep it, you know, like as a side event that's clearly not, you know, part of the main story and it's just for fun. You know, they've already done stuff like that. They've literally already done stuff like that in like Carnival Phantasma even, and then like they've collabed with other games. You know, they put fake characters in Battle Cats for God's sakes. So as long as it's not like, you know, bleeding into the main story and whatnot, I don't think it's a big deal at all. This is really bad. We are definitely gonna have a bad time here. Probably should have brought Atlas. At least we have crit down. Yeah, I really do think it's because Aniplex or DW or Type Moon or someone, you know, they think it's like they don't want to promote their competitors. I think that's how they see it. I would really like I wish Arash didn't get skill sealed because then he could do his big heal. Also, all of Calamity Jane's cards are in the third hand, so I really don't want Calamity Jane or Arash dying, because then the deck will shuffle and then all those guaranteed Calamity Jane cards are gone, which would really suck. I'd rather Arash die next turn. Ooh, don't hit him again. Fuck you! Dude, fuck off. That's so, like, all of her cards, or the third hand was 4 out of 5 Calamity Jane cards. God. You know, just for that, I'm gonna double drain. Yeah, how about that? Jesus, though, dude. Classic Hydra. Yeah, it's normally not a pleasant individual. Don't, you just... I need to bring Atlas. Also, a better, you know, units for the stage. That would help too. Quick chain would be nice, but gotta live. Yeah, skill seal is way better on the enemy side than on our side, with a few exceptions. Does the Hydra play cards? I don't know if the Hydra plays cards. You know, 100k though at neutral, not bad considering she doesn't even have Stheno's attack buff because, you know, we're skill sealed. I think we're gonna lose. We'll see though. I'm the best. I probably should have made more stars there though. There that is. Stheno, I was saying if Stheno got a hit there, she could NP and get the big defense down. I mean, for how bad that went, Calamity Jane still got a decent amount done. If she was counterclassing, she would have already killed it by now. Goddess Essence, by the way, feels good. But she didn't get the debuffs. Well, she can move the attack up. That helps. Chat, if they added story replay, the first stage I would do is not this one. Because fuck this Hydra. I don't want to see its dumb face anymore. So this would be kind of low on the list, I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure it'd happen at some point, though. Do I evade? Yeah, I think I do evade Calamity Jane. The dot, I think, does 500. I wasn't paying attention, but I think she'll live, and then she can probably get her NP. Did we ever do Gwen versus the Hydra? 77. She did not get her NP, and she's skill sealed, so even if she had her second skill right now, she couldn't cast it. Well, that sucks. I could, okay, might as well try. Very unlikely to work, but, please tell me I put Protoku on this team, because he's really good here. Okay, no, just double crit. No, it's fine. I didn't need units. Oh, hey, Protoku. He actually might bail us out here. I'm gonna cast everything because he could skill seal me, and I don't want to deal with that. I really wish, dude. I could have saved the heal and the invade for Protoku, who I think would be a little bit more useful than a space cheerleader. Okay, now well, we guarded the skill seal, but we didn't guard the, oh, fuck you, guy. No, I don't need to cast my skills right now, but that's just, like, that's the only thing I guarded, and he just cast it. It's like, okay, but I would have I was gonna say I prefer to guard the other stuff. So he can't NP seal me next turn, so I can NP next turn no matter what. We should have it. Protoku good. So if the Mirage thing didn't happen, Calamity Jane could have probably killed it without Protoku's help, but it'd have been close. This, I don't know, our third skill's not maxed, so... Oh no, we're good. Never mind. That's at level 70, by the way. Not too shabby. Unironically, Protoku is a lot of help there because a lot of people are going to get to that stage and they're not going to have a DPS caster. Now, sure, you could summon a friend's caster, which is probably what most people do, or a berserker, and a lot of berserkers and such could just one-shot it, but in case you're wanting to, you know, carry yourself, carry your own weight, Protoku's a good option there. Okay, we gotta give Calamity Jane another chance, but I don't think this is the stage for that, considering there's Lancers. I forgot to put George on the team. How? Okay, so when I got done with Goetia and that account review, I'd only been streaming for like an hour and a half or something, right? And I feel like that was just a second ago. But I have now been streaming for 3 hours and 20 minutes. So that means I spent like an hour and a half, actually I think a little more, with just the fucking, all those loading screens with the prologue, and like that tiny little bit we've done in Lost Belt 1 now. Jeez, that's just... Yikes. That's a lot of loading screens and such. I don't think we need to Stella here yet. How do y'all feel about Mordred's animations? Because her animation update was a long time ago, but it was farther in the game and they were definitely better at doing them. I'm kind of in the middle. They're decent. They hold up pretty well. They're so much better than day one stuff. But it is noticeable that she doesn't have as much effort put into her as like some of the newer ones do, like new units and that kind of thing. Like she is a bit behind. But overall, if she like never got another animation update, I'd be a little sad just because I don't like her long range buster. Here, I'll show it just because it's so fucking boring, and she does it all of the time. You see this animation over and over and over again just because of the way her gameplay is, and that kind of sucks. But overall, I think it's pretty good. Like some of her moves are kind of stilted. Like the quick kick is also very stilted, and there's like no power behind it. Like it could definitely be better. I don't think it holds up to like the. There was even other animation updates and new units of her era that I definitely think look better than her. Like that came out around that time. Like Achilles, you know, Achilles came out when she got her animation update. And I think his animations are much better than hers. Like much better. So yeah, she could use one eventually, but I'd say it's pretty low priority in comparison to like, you know, Tesla, Mozart, Shakespeare, you know, it's not even remotely close. But she kind of feels like only a little bit ahead of stuff like Ozzy, right? Like Ozzy's sprite, you know, quality is totally fine. His attacks are fine, but they're not, you know, the best either. And she's just like slightly better than that. That's kind of where I feel like Mordred is. Okay, I should have given this to Arash last turn. Because between that and then his third skill, might have been able to NP though. I don't, because it's so low ranked, probably not. This'll do it though. Man, I hope Agravain gets added soon, dude. I'm sure he's going to be added eventually, but, you know, it could be ages. And I'm really excited for, like, the potential of his different stages. I think that we might get something cool with that. Yeah, I'm quite confident he is going to get added. It's just, and they've said years ago that they wanted to do it, so it's just a matter of, you know, when I guess they feel like doing it. I swear though, if he's an arcade exclusive, that's a dark timeline. So, chat, I'm pretty sure she can kill it. I'm kind of sad I never used her third skill because, you know, I could like NP and then use her art card, then you get her overcharge effect and use her third skill, right? You can do a lot of cool stuff there. And hell, you could do, I could have done Hans's NP, so art card bonus, and then overcharges her NP here so she gets more NP back. I think it's 30%. And then that art card would give more, so she'd be at like 45% right now or something. Actually, it should be a bit higher than that, actually. And then you could use her third skill and get another 30. Yeah, I really think Agravain should have been in Lost Belt 6, and it's such an obvious time to use them. I'm surprised they didn't. Really missed opportunity to do that. And what's sad is what will probably happen now is we'll see Morgan and Agravain in an event, and it's going to be silly instead of actually serious. And like that's just like that I would have much preferred you know, a real interaction. But you know, what are you gonna do? All right, I should probably wrap up because I need to eat. Pretty hungry, and I got some real life stuff to take care of later tonight anyway. But I felt good beating Goetia. Matahari made that so much better. Like, so much better. I'm thinking here, I could try to grab Mori on this account, but I shouldn't. I should just get Asclepius, so I'll be careful about that. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. Let me see if anybody we got to raid here. Oh, no Cairo. Your task pool is streaming some FGO. Haven't raided him in a while. Alright, lads. Take care. I will try to play FGO and a bonus stream tomorrow. That's gonna be the plan, but I don't want to guarantee it just because you never know, but we shall see. Anyway, I will see you later. Or not. I mean, you know, you don't have to come back. You got free will.